players here.
As we talked on Friday out at Scottsdale, it was good for the players to get back to work, to the business of playing baseball, because there is a point where you do have to go on and get back to a routine. And you're right, it does seem that the mood here is a little bit back more on the center, with baseball being the focus again. The Scorpions game today in the Fall League has been canceled to accommodate players who wish to attend the funeral of Darnell Stinson, which is being held today in Georgia. But for the most part, for the league as a whole, I think the focus is back on baseball, and I think part of that is due to the fact that the general manager meetings are beginning this week here in the Phoenix area. There are quite a few GMs who are already out to check out their prospects, and so a lot of players know that they're going to be under an even greater microscope over the next couple of days than they were early on in the Fall League schedule.
Yep, well, as always here in the Arizona Fall League, the umpires have met with the managers at the home plate area. It appears as if Brett Evert from the Braves is done with his warm-up tosses. He's walking in from the bullpen. We'll pause right here. A little bit later on, Chris Schroeder from the Montreal Expos organization will join us, as will Alex Zumwalt of the Atlanta Braves organization. So we're going to pause right here. When we come back, we'll run down the starting lineups as you're listening to Arizona Fall League action live and exclusively on MLB.com radio.
Hey, fantasy baseball freaks and geeks, the Fantasy 411 is back for the 2003 offseason with Corey Schwartz and me, Mike Ciano, every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll give you the fantasy impact of all the offseason moves like free agent signings, trades, and even front office changes. Plus, we'll answer all your emails at radio@MLB.com. So don't get caught up in all the turkey and all that holiday shopping this offseason. Check us out on the Fantasy 411 every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on MLB.com radio.
Hey, baseball fans. Only MLB.com takes you straight from the ballpark to your computer. So don't miss a second of the action. Check out MLB.com, the only place for live baseball online. Get live games with MLB.tv and game day audio. See live stats with MLB.com's unique game day feature. For fans who just can't get enough of the game, MLB.com, the official site for all things baseball. The #1 site for Major League Baseball fans.
I was 0 for 11, and it was the year that we got Johnny Mize. He said, I'm going to fix my bat up for you. So I'm up there the first time using the bat, and pitch it to it high and inside. I duck, I got the ball, hit the bat, line drive, base hit. Then I got 199 after that.
Relive your fondest memories of Phil Rizzuto and see his Hall of Fame plaque at the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. Visit us on the web at baseballhalloffame.org or call 888-HALL-OF-FAME.
What's the deal with Freddie Garcia? Mariner pitching coach Brian Price enlightens us.
What really happened with Freddie is his ball started to come up and straighten out up in the zone, and he was giving up a lot of extra base hits and home runs, throwing a lot of breaking balls to try to miss bats and things of that nature. Kind of shortened up his arm circle to get the ball down and added a slider and moved them over on the rubber. Probably the biggest thing is that he did for himself was just became more aggressive.
The hottest issues in the game, MLB.com radio.
Now Victor Ross alongside Jeff Munn as we prepare for first pitch. Time to run down the starting lineups for the visiting Peoria Javelinas, who come in at 8-22, last place, 8 games back of the Mesa Desert Dogs in the National Division. Leading it off in center field will be Jamal Strong from the Seattle Mariners. Russ Adams of the Blue Jays will bat second, place shortstop. It'll be David DeJesus from the Royals in right field, batting third. Ryan Hankins, the third baseman from the Cubs, will bat cleanup. It'll be Jaime Bubula from the Seattle Mariners organization. Jeff, and as you may already know that I like saying Jaime Bubula. He is the left fielder from the Mariners organization. Mike Tonis from the Royals does the catching, batting sixth. It'll be Chad Santos, batting seventh, also from the Royals. He's over at first base. Jim Horner is the designated hitter from the Mariners organization, batting eighth, and Dominic Rich will wrap up the order for the Javelinas, batting ninth, the second baseman. And he is from the Chicago White Sox organization. So it'll be Strong, Adams, DeJesus, Hankins, Bubula, Tonis, Santos, Horner, and Rich to face Brett Evert of the Atlanta Braves organization, a right-hander. First pitch swing is Jamal Strong. A little lazy fly ball left center. Nobody's going to get to it. It falls in there. Strong with good speed, trying to stretch it for two. Here comes a throw, not in time. So a leadoff double by Jamal Strong. And that's how we get underway here at Mesa. Third double of the AFL for Strong. Mentioned from the Seattle Mariners organization. But Brett Evert, 0-1 down here in the AFL, a 6.66 ERA, 24 in the third innings, 31 hits. He has struck out 30 and walked 7 in 6 starts. Jeff, as we touched on last week, as we roll further and further down into the Arizona Fall League, fewer and fewer players become available because they get to that threshold as far as pitch count is concerned on the part of pitchers.
As a matter of fact, the AFL has a rule about certain players that are deemed, for lack of a better term, taxi squad players that are only technically available on Wednesdays and Saturdays, but we have one player that is on the taxi squad that is in the lineup today and is playing just for that reason, because players are starting to become less and less available due to hitting certain points in terms of innings played or innings pitched. And so as a result, you have to get guys in there. James Horner is one of them, and he's in the lineup today as the DH.
Well, Everett had a 1-ball, 1-strike count. The off-speed missing load, 2-1. To the shortstop from the Blue Jays organization, Russ Adams, who comes in hitting .257. No home runs, 5 runs batted in. He has 2 doubles and a triple. Mentioned Jamal Strong, who had very good speed on at second base. Johnson, the shortstop, trying to keep him honest. The 2-1, fastball, away. 3 balls and a strike on the left-handed batter. Everett, as I mentioned, from the Braves. Out of Salem, Oregon, selected by the Braves, 7th round back in 1999. A high school draft pick. Big boy, though, 6'6", 200-pounder. Everett will come set, checks the runner, the 3-1. There's a fastball right at the knees. Full count now. Everett spent this past season at Double-A Greenville in the Southern League. A 4-9 mark, a 4.02 earned run average. That, of course, coming in 33 games, 15 of which were starts, and he also had a save. But still a very young man. And of course, everyone knows the Atlanta Braves have a penchant for bringing up pitching talent, as ball 4 is delivered low and in. And here in the early going in the top of the first, Everett has given up a leadoff double and a walk. So that'll bring up David DeJesus from the Kansas City Royals organization, batting third in right field. And here's a kid that is, for lack of a better term, has shown some power here in the Arizona Fall League with 6 home runs. He does have a .308 average. That's from the left side. And his stock continues to rise here in the AFL. First pitch on the way, good off speed, caught the corner. No balls and a strike.
One of the areas where the Javelinas are struggling, and with an 8-22 record, there could be quite a few categories that fit that, but power has been a big problem. In fact, today with DeJesus with 6 home runs, there are only 4 players in the starting lineup today for the Javelinas that have a home run this year in the AFL. Everett gets his shine. The right-hander will come set. Check strong. Time is called. Home plate umpire Matt Schaefer comes out from behind the dish. DeJesus stepping out of the box. Matt Schaefer calls the balls and strikes. It's Mike McClinsky at first base. Kevin Sweeney at second. Mike Jost at third base. Fastball away. A ball and a strike to DeJesus. Set the defense for you. For the Mesa Solar Sox, it's Brad Hopp in left field. Delman Young in center. Jason DuBois in right field. Brendan Harris at third. Johnson at shortstop. Richard Lewis at second base. Chris Wilkin at first. And Casey Kapitsky does the catching. 1-1. There's a little flare into shallow center field. Coming on is Delman Young. He'll make the catch on the run. Nice play by Delman Young on a ball hit off the end of the bat. So DeJesus unable to advance the runners. 1 out. Runners at first and second for Ryan Hankins. So far in this ball game, Victor, it appears that Everett is having trouble with his command of his fastball. He showed in his warm-up pitches just before the start of the ball game, he was really trying to get that breaking ball over to show it off a little bit, show whether it had some movement. But at this point, his fastball is just jumping all over the place.
It sure is, and unlike the last couple of weeks, where attendance has been sparse, because the general managers meeting begin today here in Phoenix over at the Arizona Biltmore Hotel, there are a lot of general managers, scouting directors, scouts in attendance today. So hopefully as the week progresses, we will be broadcasting from right here at Mesa's Hohokam Park. There goes Strong from second. No throw from Kapitsky as the breaking ball goes over the head of Hankins. So stolen base for Strong. Adams did not advance. He's still on at first base. second stolen base of the AFL. Or Jamal Strong, pardon me.
I beg your pardon, sir. Evert just had a bad release point on that pitch, and really the catcher, Kapitsky, had no shot at throwing the runner out.
Hankins out of the White Sox organization, getting the start at third base, right-handed hitter. Crowds the plate. Fastball low. 2 balls and no strikes. He's had a nice Arizona Fall League, a .348 average. 3 home runs, 19 runs batted in. Kind of has that Gary Sheffield swagger about him as far as his hands and the bat. A lot of movement. That back elbow held up high. 3-0, and he pops it up into dead center field. Delman Young going back, now comes in a couple of steps. Comes around it. He'll make the catch. Strong will tag from third. He'll score easily. And the sacrifice fly to Ryan Hankins gives the Peoria Javelinas a 1-0 lead. That's RBI number 20 for Hankins. Adams still on at first base, 2 outs. For Seattle Mariners farmhand and left fielder, Jaime Bubala. That is the best name down here in the Arizona Fall League.
I can tell you really like it, too.
I love it. First pitch fastball away to Bubala. Ball and no strikes. And Bubala went deep a couple of weeks ago, and I couldn't stop saying his name. Home run Bubala. As a matter of fact, we had a matchup. I forget the kid's name. I believe it was from the Astros organization. Facing Bubala. It was classic. You know what? I'm going to look it up. Foul ball on the left side, out of play. A ball and 1 strike. Bubala, 307 average. He does have a home run. That 1 home run that I happened to call a couple of weeks ago.
Lucky you.
10 runs batted in. He is a left-handed hitter. On 1, off speed, swung on and missed.
When I was writing the name in the book today, I thought, you know what? This is the kind of guy Victor would like. He probably likes this name.
I do.
Bubala.
Bubala. Jaime Bubala. Overcast here in the Arizona area. Actually, we're supposed to get some showers midweek. 1-2, slice foul to left side, out of play. And the count remains not 1-3 as the scoreboard says. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
It's a tough sky, too, because the lights are not on here, and yet it is overcast. No threat of rain today, but it's that kind of cloudiness that makes the ball a little harder to pick up when it comes off the bat.
Evert comes set, checks the runner, the 1-2. Curveball swung on and missed, and down goes Bubala for the 3rd out. Now before the Javelinas put a run on the board, on 1 hit, the sacrifice fly by Ryan Hankins. As we played 1/2 inning here in Mesa, the Javelinas lead it 1-0 as you're listening to Arizona Fall League action live and exclusively on MLB.com radio.
Right now, fall is in full color at Kohl's. Kohl's has all the brands your family loves, like Nike, Levi's, Dockers, Mudd, Lee, Oshkosh, and many more. Every size, every color, fully stocked. And with Kohl's great sale prices, you can bundle up without spending a bundle. Plus, you'll enjoy Kohl's hassle-free returns, stroller carts, easy checkouts, and storefront parking. So come on in and see what's new for fall at Kohl's. Kohl's. Shop happy, leave happy.
Hey, Cardinals fans, STLCardinals.com is the official website for Cardinals information. Don't miss a second of the action. STLCardinals.com is the only place for live baseball action on the net with game day audio. Watch video highlights of every game with postgame.tv. Heading to the ballpark? Buy tickets to any game and buy the latest Cardinal gear online at the shop. For diehard Cards fans like you, STLCardinals.com, the #1 site for Cardinals fans.
Being inducted into the Hall of Fame is the ultimate after you had a successful major league career. Of course, I took 4 years out for World War II. I joined the Navy 2 days after Pearl Harbor, and I'm very proud to be an American and hope I've been a good one.
Relive your fondest memories of Bob Feller and see his Hall of Fame plaque at the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. For more information, visit us on the web at baseballhalloffame.org or call 888-HALL-OF-FAME.
Bases are loaded. There's the hot count to 11-year-old right fielder Smith. Smith relays the ball to Baker. Baker Baker fires to Ellis. Ellis to Purdy. Purdy to Stearnton. And Stearnton, cut-off mascot. Now that's
Teamwork. Just one lesson kids learn through the Baseball Tomorrow Fund. A partnership between Major League Baseball and its players that connects kids with baseball and softball programs worldwide. To learn more, visit baseballtomorrowfund.com.
Bottom of the first inning we go, 1-0. Peoria Javelinas leading it off for the home team. The Mesa Solar Sox, Richard Lewis from the Braves organization, as we run down the starting lineups for the Solar Sox. Lewis, the second baseman, is a leadoff man. Brendan Harris from the Cubs is bats second. He's a third baseman. Johnny Gomes, the DH from the Devil Rays, bats third. Jason Du Bois from the Cubs as Lewis slices one down that right field foul line. Just foul. A ball and a strike on Richard Lewis. Du Bois is the cleanup hitter from the Cubs in right field. Chris Wilkin, the first baseman from the Orioles, bats sixth. It'll be Delman Young batting sixth from the Blue Jays organization. He is the center fielder. Kelly Johnson from the Braves, the shortstop, he bats seventh. Brad Hopp from the Colorado Rockies in left field, batting eighth. And Casey Kapitsky does the catching out of the Cubs organization. So it'll be Lewis, Harris, Gomes, Du Bois, Wilkin, Young, Johnson, Hopp, and Kapitsky facing the right-hander from the Toronto Blue Jays organization, Cameron Reimers. Reimers 0-1 and a 4.19 earned run average in 5 starts. 19 and a third innings, 23 hits, 8 strikeouts, just 2 walks. 2-1 pitch, line right to the shortstop, Hankins, who's got it. That ball was smoked. A frozen rope right to the third baseman, 1 out.
Hankins looked very smooth fielding that ball. He didn't seem too flustered by the fact that thing was coming at him like a laser beam. He just kind of easily moved to his right to backhand it. Very nice play.
So with 1 out, nobody on, that'll bring up Brendan Harris, the third baseman. There's a ground ball past the third baseman, Hankins, down the left field line. Harris is going to round first. He's going to try for 2. The throw coming in from Booble is not going to be in time, and a double for Brendan Harris. So first pitch swinging, gets a pitch on the inside part of the plate. Hankins had no shot at it. A little bouncer that hugged that foul line. And Harris has his 7th double of the AFL.
That's one thing the Solar Sox club will do is hit, and then hit some more. That's not the normal formula a club that has a 19-11 record should follow. You would think their pitching would be the strong point, but with this club, it's offense and lots of it.
And swinging first pitch is Johnny Gomes, and he nubs one up the first base line foul. No balls and a strike on the designated hitter this afternoon. It's kind of gotten a little bit dark here. I'm surprised the lights haven't come on. Mentioned the low-pressure system rolling in from Southern California. Supposed to get some showers late Tuesday. Definitely some rain, maybe a quarter of an inch on Wednesday.
Wow, you mixed meteorology in while I wasn't looking.
I'm trying. The 0-1 swing and a miss, no balls and 2 strikes. And then we may have some lingering effects on to Thursday, but it should clear up for the weekend and the championship game on Saturday.
Stick with us, friends. Victor will have the forecast coming up right after this break.
I have not checked up on the barometric pressure as of yet.
That's all right. You got time.
Reimers, the right-hander, will come set. He checks Harris at second base. The 0-2, breaking ball in the dirt. Nice play by Tonis, the catcher. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Gomes, who's had a nice AFL. .313 average, 8 home runs. 21 runs batted in. If I haven't mentioned it already, he of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays organization. A guy who likes the breaking ball. He will sit breaking ball. And he will hammer breaking ball if you hang it. Good lead for Harris at second base. The 2-2 fastball downstairs.
You don't hear that about a lot of hitters, that they like breaking balls. I mean, usually the classic story is that you got guys who hit fastballs well, and as soon as you throw that hook up there, they become guys who are packing their bags and heading home.
Especially for power guys. Breaking ball, and that's driven deep to right center field. Going back is strong, still going back. He reaches up, not going to get to it, goes off the wall. Around third comes Harris. He's going to score, and we're tied up at 1 run apiece. And right on cue, Johnny Gomes gets a breaking ball, and he hammers it the other way. Strong, who likes to play a shallow center field, unable to catch up to it. So credit Johnny Gomes with his 22nd run batted in. Ties the ball game up here in the first. For Gomes' 10th double of the AFL. And back-to-back doubles here, given up by Cameron Reimers. And he's got big trouble here in Jason DuBois. Right-handed batter from the Cubs, and he gets jammed, little slow roller up the third base line, foul. Hankins fielded it behind the bag at third base, but third base umpire Mike Jost with the quick call.
You know, think about that his swing by Gomes on the breaking pitch. And we just talked about it a minute ago, about the fact that he likes breaking pitches. That's going to get a lot of favor with a lot of people in the Tampa Bay organization, or any major league organization would love a guy that can sit on breaking pitches and do as much with them as he just did right there. He went the opposite way and took a breaking pitch into the gap in right center. And you continue to do that with any consistency, and you get to the major leagues very, very quickly.
And, you know, one more important fact just on the heels of that, the fact that it was with 2 strikes. Not trying to pull the ball, trying to go the other way. DuBois jams one foul off the screen along the third base side. No balls and 2 strikes.
You can spoil a lot of pitchers' plans, too, that way, because how often do we see that when pitchers get to a situation where they've got a 2-strike count, they feel they've got the hitter set up for that breaking pitch?
Gomes with a big lead at second base. Reimers comes set. He spins around. Nobody's covering, so no throw. Reimers also a big boy, just like Brett Evert, 6'5", 205 out of Missoula, Montana. The 0-2 pitch high and tight. And DuBois did exactly what he was supposed to do, turn that left shoulder in towards the home plate area, protect himself. That ball, a little chin music there. And I would assume probably setting up the off-speed pitch down and away from him. He's come inside 3 times now. Has Reimers, a ball and 2 strikes. 1-2, breaking ball low. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Being that this is the last week of the regular season for the Arizona Fall League, you know a lot of these players on both sides are going to want to make favorable impressions, not just because the general managers are in town, but this will be the last baseball they play until they report to spring training. They want to leave with a good taste in their mouths, obviously.
Sure. 2-2 pitch on the way. There's a ground ball. Third baseman Hankins. He plays it on the short hop, throws across, and in time for out number 2. So 2 outs. A runner on at second base, and Orioles first baseman Chris Wilkin will step in.
And there another great example of good defense by Hankins. He short hopped that ball, and he doesn't play here every day, so he doesn't know exactly how the ball is going to play off the infield, but he did a great job to stay right in front of it and played the hop beautifully.
1-1 game here in the bottom of the first. 2 outs, man on at second. First pitch from Reimers, popped up left field. Back goes Bubala. Still going back, and he'll make the catch just short of the warning track for the third out. But the Solar Sox bounce back. 1 run on 2 hits. They do strand a runner, and they tie it up as we played 1 inning here at Mesa. 1-1 the score as you're listening to Arizona Fall League action live on MLB.com radio.
This is Andy Pettit of the New York Yankees. It's never easy to stand your ground when facing the best hitters in the game, but with practice, you gain confidence. To teach values that go beyond the diamond, Major League Baseball charities and Boys and Girls Clubs of America have teamed up to bring baseball and softball to kids around the world. Through programs like RBI and Rookie League, boys and girls learn about teamwork, fair play, and respect. Because when kids believe in themselves, amazing things can happen.
Got the perfect gift for the baseball fan in your life at MLB Shop on MLB.com. You can purchase jackets, jerseys, caps, and clothes for men, women, and children. Get a snappy new batting practice jersey or a classic replica jersey of your favorite team. You can even customize your jersey. Best of all, it can all be done online. Plus, the MLB Shop has baseball cards, bobblehead dolls, books, videos, and so much more. All purchases are private and secure, and the MLB Shop accepts all major credit cards. Click on the MLB Shop button at the top right of MLB.com and get that perfect gift today.
Raven, we've got bandits at 1 o'clock.
Lights on.
Engaging now.
What kind of person can handle an F-16 dueling in a Mach-speed dogfight? Why, a math teacher, of course, when she's in the National Guard and Reserve. Nearly half of today's military are members of the Guard and Reserve, but they can't do it without their employer's support. If you're an employer, visit www.esgr.org and learn how to do your part. After all, their response depends on yours. A public service message from ESGR and the Ad Council.
Essentially, whatever time it is.
But it's not California. It is Mountain Time here in Arizona as we welcome you back to the top of the second inning. 1-1 ball game. Having a blast here in the Arizona Fall League, as are many of the folks in attendance. Good crowd on hand. General manager, some scouts. Gary Hughes is here. Saw Omar Minaya, J.P. Ricciardi. The funny thing is, Jeff, as we were talking about it, that many of these folks, they're not sitting together in one section. And I believe it's starting to sprinkle now. I see some fans moving up, back behind the rafters. And sure enough, it is. First pitch to the catcher, Mike Tonis. Fastball inside, ball one.
We were just saying before we came back from the break, it's not supposed to rain today, but it's peppering down a little bit, and it's forcing people to move in. You're right, though. These general managers are kind of staying to themselves because you know that they're going to be taking phone calls, they're going to be taking notes, and they don't want to share a lot of information with their colleagues.
Tonis fouls one back behind the home plate area. 2 balls and a strike. One more.
The general managers meetings, and we talked about this last week, are a great opportunity for the GMs to lay a lot of groundwork for what may take place during the winter meetings next month.
Tonis pops one up. Shallow center field. Young goes back now, has to come back in. He's still coming on. He'll make the catch for round number 1. So 1 out, nobody on. That'll bring up Chad Santos, first baseman from the Royals organization.
A couple of times Young has been crossed up on some balls hit out there, and again, that was a case where the darkening skies might have confused him a little bit on how that ball was jumping off the bat.
First pitch, fastball, down and away, ball 1. Actually, this is, for me, as well as for yourself, because you've joined me on occasion, 3rd week of Arizona Fall League action, first time we've seen rain. We did get some rain, I want to say, over a weekend, 2 weekends ago. But nothing to affect play here in the Arizona Fall League. And I know last year I think we had a couple of rainouts, had a couple of 7-inning games because of guys running out of pitching. 1-1 to Santos, fouls one back and out of play. 2 balls and a strike.
The real rainy time here in Arizona, especially in the desert part of Arizona, is in the early months of the calendar year, January, February, March. You'll see a few Cactus League games get wiped out by rain.
1-2 pitch, breaking ball, caught the inside corner, and down goes Santos. Second strikeout of the ballgame for Evert, second out of the inning. And with 2 outs, nobody on, Jim Horner, the DH, will step in.
Well, Everett's got great command of that curveball early on, and boy, he really broke one off there that just caught the corner. Now what he's got to do is make certain he's got as much control of his fastball.
First pitch, curveball in there, strike 1. One-0 pitch. There's a liner right to the shortstop, Johnson, for out number 3. So an easy inning for Brett Evert here in the top of the second inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, no men left on base. We head to the bottom of the second. We're tied up at 1 apiece as you're listening to Arizona Fall League action live exclusively on MLB.com radio.
I'm Bob Costas. This year would have marked Lou Gehrig's 100th birthday. The legendary Iron Horse of baseball gave his heart and soul to America's favorite pastime, but he gave his life and name to the fatal disease, ALS, now best known as Lou Gehrig's disease. You can help strike out ALS. Call the ALS Association at 1-800-782-4747 or log on to alsa.org. Thanks.
Your grandparents came here.
The long drive, and it's a home run for Joe DiMaggio.
Your parents came here.
Here comes Roger Maris in the score, and Cepeda pulling the second with the double.
Now it's your turn.
Number 3,000 for one of the great players of all time, George Brett.
Cooperstown, New York. A tradition of excellence for 7 decades. Be a part of it. For information, call 1-888-HALL-OF-FAME.
From the first pitch of spring training to the last pitch of the World Series, MLB.com radio brings unique and exclusive coverage of Major League Baseball. That continues during the winter months with Arizona Fall League action, hot stove reports, and baseball winter meetings. In November, check out live and exclusive play-by-play of Arizona Fall League action with the hottest prospects in baseball. December means baseball's winter meetings live from New Orleans as we bring you conversations with the managers and team officials from every ball club. Get the latest news with free agent signings and off-season moves on the Hot Stove Shows. Get updates on winter leagues and the news from the minor leagues on the Baseball America Hour. Number one baseball source all year long. This is MLB.com Radio. Bottom of the second we go. Victor Rojas alongside Jeff Munn bringing you the action of the Mesa Solar Sox Peoria Javelinas Arizona Fall League game here at Mesa's Hohokam Park. Spring training home, of course, of the Chicago Cubs. Delman Young from the Devil Rays leads it off. Checked his swing. No, he didn't. On the breaking pitch, he's in the hole at 0-1. Delman Young, of course, from the Devil Rays. First round selection, signed a big league contract this past year. And this is his first professional action here in the Arizona Fall League. Swinging a miss on the fastball, no balls and 2 strikes. And he's done a nice job. A .410 average. He does have a home run. 6 runs batted in. 5 doubles. Right-handed batter. 0-2 breaking ball away. 1-2 the count. Of course, the brother of Detroit Tigers, Dimitri Young. And highly touted. Many feel that he is going to be a good corner outfielder in the big league. Swing and a miss on the breaking pitch, and down goes Young for the first out.
Wasn't much Young could do with that one because Reimers did a great job of busting that thing off, and you could just see as Young was swinging, he thought he was going after a pitch that was going to be up in the strike zone, and classic case of just getting fooled.
First pitch down low to Kelly Johnson, the shortstop from the Braves. 1-0 the count. Johnson, left-handed hitter, .288 average, 5 home runs, 14 runs batted in. And someone whom the Atlanta Braves feel has a very good shot at being an everyday position player at the Major League level. Swing and a miss on the off-speed, a ball and a strike. One pitch, fastball in. 2 balls and a strike. Fastball low, actually 1 hop to catcher Tonis. 3 balls and a strike.
Between innings, Victor, the plate umpire, Matt Schaefer, indicated to the AFL officials working in the press box that he wanted the lights turned on, and they're now starting to take full effect here as the skies just continue to get a little bit darker minute by minute.
Fastball caught the inside part of the plate, full count now. It's a 1-1 ball game. We're in the bottom of the second inning. Not raining particularly hard. Light little drizzle, but it's steady. Payoff pitch, change up low. So Reimers not afraid to throw a 3-2 change up. That shows good command, good poise, and confidence, of course, on your off-speed pitch, but Kelly Johnson wasn't biting. That's the first walk issued by Reimers to go along with a 1 strikeout. There's a man on at first base with 1 out, and Brad Hopp from the Rockies stepping in. First pitch from Reimers, down low. Ball and no strikes. Hopp, .244 average, 3 home runs, 17 runs batted in. He's got some pretty good power. Rockies officials very excited about the potential that Hopp brings, especially to the Mile High City. 1-0 pitch, fastball high. 2 balls and no strikes.
We've done games primarily at Scottsdale this year, Victor, which is a big ballpark. Hohokam, a little more compact, 340 down the left field line, 350 down the right field line, 390 to the alleys, 410 to straightaway center, but it too, like a lot of the other parks, has a batter's eye.
2-0, swinging his hop. He fouls one off the left side, out of play. 2 balls and a strike.
The other thing about this ballpark is that the outfield fence juts out a little bit to straightaway left, and it curves around. There's a little corner where a ball can get caught. Same thing in right field where the bullpen juts out.
Reimers sets the 2-1, swing and a miss. Hop trying to pull the ball. Got a fastball away, couldn't catch up to it. Evens the count of 2 balls and 2 strikes. Short lead for Johnson on at first base. Does have 1 stolen base. Runners going, ground ball up the middle. Flipped over to the shortstop. Adams throws on to first. In time for the inning-ending double play. So even with Johnson going on the pitch, ground ball hit by Hop was near the bag at second base. Rich flipped to Adams, who threw on to Santos at first base. And just like that, Reimers gets out of it. No runs, no hits, no errors, no men left on base. We played 2 from Mesa. We're tied up at 1 apiece. You're listening to Arizona Fall League action live and exclusively right here on MLB.com radio.
I'm Derek Jeter. When I was growing up, my parents and I would go to the schoolyard every weekend and play ball. They teach me how if I practiced and didn't give up, my swing could get better. But if I got in front of the ball and wasn't afraid, I could stop it. But there weren't any shortcuts to becoming a better player. But if I believed in myself, I could do it. Funny, all that time, I thought they were teaching me how to play baseball.
Helping your kids find a dream can help keep them off drugs. This message brought to you by Partnership for Drug-Free America. Visit us at drugfreeamerica.org.
Avoid going into spring training wondering where the free agents have landed and what your team looks like heading into the 2004 season. Let MLB.com radio keep you informed with our Hot Stove Report. Mainstays Seth Everett, Billy Sample, and Jonathan Mayo bring you the most up-to-date information while they chat with general managers, scouts, and those inside. Just because the World Series is over doesn't mean we stop thinking baseball. The Hot Stove Report, found only at MLB.com radio.
Hi, this is Tommy Lasorda. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate my good friend Ben Platt for the great interviews he does on MLB.com radio.
Well, thank you, Tommy. You know, I try to interview everyone in baseball, from Hall of Famers like you to the new stars just coming on the scene, every morning on the Baseball Breakfast with Billy Sample and Jonathan Mayo, and afternoons on deck with Seth Everett and Victor Rojas.
Hey, Ben, one thing I don't get is, what's this Benny P stuff?
Tommy, it's just a radio nickname they gave me back in the station.
Benny P this, Benny P that. You weren't Benny P 10 years ago when you started out covering the Dodgers. I'm one of the few guys that knew you when you were poor. Man, I thought you were going to soil yourself every time you did an interview with me.
Man, last year he accused me of starting the Kingman interview, now this. The Benny P interviews, exclusively on MLB.com radio.
Benny P, what a joke.
Down to the 3rd inning we go. Dominic Rich will lead it off from the Toronto Blue Jays organization. 1-1 ball game here in Mesa. A run on 1 hit, no errors for the Peoria Javelinas. 1 run on 2 hits and no errors, of course, for the home team, the Mesa Solar Sox. Rich batting front of left side, swinging at the first pitch, pops one up. Shallow right field. Boys, the right fielder coming on a couple of steps, and he'll make the catch for out number 1. So since giving up the sac fly to Ryan Hankins, Red Everett has retired the last 5 batters in a row. And last 7 in a row since giving up the walk to the second batter of the game, Russ Adams. As the leadoff man, Jamal Strong, steps in. Takes a fastball on the inside corner for strike 1.
Right there, Everett's got that command of the fastball that he's been looking for the first couple of innings.
0-1 pitch on the way. Strong squared to bunt, took the curveball in there for strike 2.
Well, that's a beauty, too. That was a beautiful breaking pitch. He's had that going for him from the beginning of the ball game.
He sure has. 0-2 pitch on the way. Curveball, chopped foul of the third base side. Count remains no balls, 2 strikes. Strong, who led off the ball game with a double, came around to score after he stole third base. Ryan Hankins, sacrifice fly, plated him to give the Javelinas a 1-0 lead in the first. 0-2 pitch, this one foul, back to the screen.
Where you guys from?
If you look at the Braves' history, and it's pretty easy to document with all the great pitching they've had over the last 10, 12 years, there's no real consistent pattern amongst the really good pitchers they've had. Some throw hard, some don't.
0-2 curveball, nubbed foul this time. Up the first base side. Count remains no balls, 2 strikes.
I would guess that if there is one thing that is very consistent, and it's an elementary thing, it's that they're all around the strike zone, all around the plate. You think about guys that like Glavine and Smoltz and Maddox, very rarely do they hurt themselves.
So Evert going with the breaking ball again, this time way outside. Kapinski having to shift to his right and drop down to his knees to keep that ball in front of him, just in case Strong did off-red it. But the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Appears as if the drizzle has subsided for now. 1-2 fastball upstairs. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Evert winds a 2-2 curveball, trying to catch the corner. It did. Went around the plate on the inside part to the right hand, hitting Strong. And Evert, after starting Strong, no balls and 2 strikes, couldn't put him away. Is now have a full count. Payoff pitch on the way, fastball upstairs. Strong is on board with the second walk issued by Evert. Almost looked as if he was trying to overthrow that fastball. He's got good late tailing movement on the fastball, but missed high, Strong laid off of it. So he reaches for the second time in the ballgame, and you have to pay attention to him. 2 stolen bases in the Arizona Fall League. Very good speed. As Russ Adams steps in, and a flip over from Evert to first base, Strong back safely.
Well, even with the great command that he's had of his breaking pitch to this point, it's a little risky proposition to throw that 3-2 curveball.
Unlike Cameron Reimers, who was not afraid to throw the 3-2 changeup, Evert apparently doesn't feel comfortable enough. As Adams lines one into right field. Back goes Du Bois, still going back. Not going to get to it. 1 hop off the warning track and over the fence for a ground rule double. Strong will head over to third base. And Evert had to come in there with a good fastball. And Adams was waiting for it. Turned that thing right around as he picks up his 3rd double of the AFL. And puts runners at second and third base with 1 out for a pretty good hitter in David DeJesus.
He drove that thing a long way right near the 390 sign in right center. Got that nice big hop to get it over the fence, but a little bit of a bad break for the Javelinas because that would have easily scored the runner all the way around first.
Sure, especially a person of strong speed. Javelinas trying to retake the lead here. 1-1 game, top of the 3rd. DeJesus swinging at the first pitch, pops it up, left field. Strong is going to tag. Hop comes under him. He'll make the catch. He's not even going to make a throw home, and Strong is going to score to give the Javelinas a 2-1 lead. Second sacrifice fly for Peoria in this game. The first one off the bat of Ryan Hankins. This one, David DeJesus picks up RBI number 14. But now there are 2 outs with a man on at second, and Ryan Hankins will step in. Hankins, no official at bat, had the sac fly, picked up his 20th run batted in. Evert started to come set, then stepped off the rubber. We will remain here at Mesa throughout the week. The rest of the schedule of the Arizona Fall League is the off-speed pitch caught the inside part of the plate for strike 1. Tomorrow afternoon, keep in mind, it's a 4:30 Eastern time start, so 2:30 Mountain time. You don't want a Hankins swing and a miss on the breaking pitch. No balls and 2 strikes. It'll be the Mesa Desert Dogs hosting the Peoria Saguaros. That is tomorrow afternoon's ball game. Wednesday afternoon, same Mesa Desert Dogs hosting the Grand Canyon Raptors. And then on Thursday, last regular season game for the Arizona Fall League, Mesa Solar Sox hosting the Scottsdale Scorpions. 0-2 curveball low, a ball and 2 strikes. So all of those games Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 4:30 Eastern Time, right here on MLB.com radio. And, I might add, we will be broadcasting Saturday's championship game. 1-2 pitch, fastball, popped up right side, foul territory. Wilkin, the first baseman, shading over towards the wall, and he will make the catch just in front of the warning trap for the third out of the inning. But not before the Javelinas push across a run on one hit. Sac fly by David De Jesus gives the Javelinas a 2-1 lead as we head to the bottom of the third inning. And you're listening to Arizona Fall League action live and exclusively on MLB.com radio.
MLB.com radio heats up even as the weather cools down. Join Diamondbacks broadcaster and MLB.com radio contributor Victor Rojas as we bring you Arizona Fall League action. Just because the World Series is over doesn't mean the play stops. Check out some of the best the minor leagues has to offer with prospects like Delman Young, J.D. Durbin, and J.R. House, just steps away from the big time. Victor Rojas in Arizona Fall League action. It's MLB.com radio heating up on the road to the 2004 season. And don't worry, it's a dry heat.
You love the game. You love your team. And you love your friends and family. So to get home safely, you hand off your keys to a sober, designated driver. America's all-star team of sports leagues, stadium service partners, brewers, broadcasters, and traffic safety experts thanks the sober, designated drivers who make sure you buckle up and get you home safely.
Victor Rojas has done it all. He's played minor league baseball, worked the bullpen as a catcher with the Florida Marlins. He was the general manager of a minor league team that won a championship, and now he works as part of the broadcast team for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Yet with all of that, Victor still finds time to fill us with many baseball tidbits.
Since you're all fired up, Ricky's a pretty quotable guy.
Yeah.
Just ask him. I don't want to be one of those great players who never made it to the series. He played in 3 World Series. Well, I'm not one of them, so that's 49% right there on Ken Caminiti's claim that at least 50% of the big leaguers use steroids. Wait, it gets better. Steve Finley was Henderson's teammate in San Diego. The tale has them boarding a bus when Finley told Henderson, sit anywhere you want, you've got tenure. To which Henderson said, 10 years? What are you talking about? Ricky got 16, 17 years. Oh, that's classic.
Victor Rojas, attitude, humor, and knowledge of the game. Just another few reasons to listen to MLB.com radio.
Believe it.
Now, bottom of the third inning we go. Javelinas leading it 2-1. Victor Rojas alongside Jeff Munn. His first pitch swinging is the catcher Casey Kapinski, and he lines one right to the third baseman Hankins for the first out.
Hankins is conducting a clinic over there today.
He has been a busy man. So with one out in the third, that'll take us to the top of the order in Richard Lewis. I think get you caught up as to what is going on around the Arizona Fall League. 2 divisions, 6 teams, and of course 3 teams in each division, Jeff, because I saw the puzzled look on your face.
Glad you straightened me out on that.
Oh, no problem. American division, National division, as Lewis squared a bunt, pulled it back and took the curveball in there for strike 1. The Mesa Solar Sox, 1911, lead the American division. 2.5 game lead over the Peoria Javelinas, who are 17-14. 0-1 curveball lays into left center field. That's going to fall in there for a base hit. So Lewis on board for the first time. Third hit of the game for Mesa. Man on first, 1 out for Brendan Harris. Wrapping up the standings in the American Division, Scottsdale Scorpions 14-15, 4.5 games back. So essentially the Scorpions mathematically eliminated. Saguaro's still involved with the 2.5 game deficit. National Division a little bit different. Mesa Desert Dogs 2 games over 500 lead it at 15-13. A 3-game lead over the Grand Canyon Raptors. First pitch fastball in there for strike 1 on Harris. And the Peoria Javelinas bringing up the rear of the National Division 8-22. 8 games back. They, my friends, with 4 games to go, are most definitely not involved in postseason here. Ground ball to the shortstop, Adams. He's got it, flips to Rich for 1. On to first in time for the inning-ending double play. Second DP turned by the Javelinas in this ballgame. No runs, 1 hit. No man left on base. We've played 3. Javelinas lead it 2-1 as you're listening to Arizona Fall League action live and exclusively right here on MLB.com radio.
Hey, fantasy baseball freaks and geeks. The Fantasy 411 is back for the 2003 offseason with Corey Schwartz and me, Mike Ciano, every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll give you the fantasy impact of all the offseason moves like free agent signings, trades, and even front office changes. Plus, we'll answer all your emails at radio@MLB.com. So don't get caught up in all the turkey and all that holiday shopping this offseason. Check us out on the Fantasy 411 every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on MLB.com radio.
Hey, baseball fans. Only MLB.com takes you straight from the ballpark to your computer. So don't miss a second of the action. Check out MLB.com, the only place for live baseball online. Get live games with MLB.tv and game day audio. See live stats with MLB.com's unique game day feature. For fans who just can't get enough of the game, MLB.com, the official site for all things baseball. The #1 site for Major League Baseball fans.
I was 0 for 11, and it was the year that we got Johnny Mize. He said, I'm going to fix my bat up for you. So I'm up there the first time using the bat, and pitcher threw it high and inside. I duck, I got the ball, hit the bat, line drive base hit, and I got 199 after that.
Relive your fondest memories of Phil Rizzuto and see his Hall of Fame plaque at the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. Visit us on the web at baseballhalloffame.org or call 888-HALL-OF-FAME.
What's the deal with Freddie Garcia? Mariner pitching coach Brian Price enlightens us.
What really happened with Freddie is his ball started to come up and straighten out up in the zone, and he was giving up a lot of extra base hits and home runs, throwing a lot of breaking balls to try to miss bats and things of that nature. We kind of shortened up his arm circle to get the ball down and added a slider and moved him over on the rubber. Probably the biggest thing is that he did for himself was just became more aggressive.
The hottest issues in the game, MLB.com radio.
Well, top of the 4th inning we go. 2-1 lead for the Javelinas. Jaime Bubala just tried to bunt his way on and fouled it off. But for more play-by-play, I turn it over to Jeff Munn.
Thank you, Victor Rojas. I'm glad you get a chance to get that Jaime Bubala reference in there. I didn't want you to miss out on that. 4th inning, 2-1 Javelinas. And Evert into his windup, and the pitch is swung on and missed. And the count 0-2. 2 runs on 2 hits, no errors for the Javelinas. 1 run, 3 hits, no errors for the Solar Sox. And the Solar Sox playing a game today under very un-solar-like skies here in Mesa. Breaking ball is swung on and lifted to deep left. Backing up on it is Hop. At the track, at the wall, it short hops the fence. Actually goes off the top of the fence, and by the time that Hop gets it, Bubala's into second. The throw gets away toward the catcher, Kopitsky, but Bubala will hold at second with a leadoff double. That ball just took off, and Hop waited for it to come down and saw it hit the top of the fence, or at least the fence padding. There is a little railing above the padding that would be the dividing line between a home run and a ball in play. So that ball was ruled correctly as a ball in play as it hit the top of the padding. Bubala at second with a leadoff double. The 3rd hit surrendered by Everett. And the batter will be Mike Tonis. Tonis flied to center his first time up, and Everett delivers a fastball inside. Hohokam Park's been around for quite a while. The Cubs are not the first Major League team to call this a spring training home. Everett sets, looks back at second, works the plate, breaking ball low and away. The Cubs have been here for over 20 years, but before that, the Oakland A's played here way back in the 70s. Now Everett's 2-0 delivery is swung on and fouled off to the left out of play. But this ballpark, as it is seen today, is a refurbished model. And it's big, and when you consider that the Cubs are the ones playing the spring training games here, you figure it'd have to have a lot of seats. Bula at second, nobody out. Everett's 2-1, and Tonis takes that for a strike. When the Cubs play here in the spring, they can attract big crowds just for a workout, as you might expect, with the huge following the Cubs have across the country. There's a 2-2 breaking ball that's inside, and the count to Tonis is full. Everett's tried that on a couple of occasions to bring that breaking ball in on the inside corner with no success. Now he sets. And the 3-2 pitch to Tonis, another breaking ball, is outside, ball 4. Well, there was an earlier instance back in the third inning when Evert tried to push a fastball past Jamal Strong on a 3-2 count and missed. This time he goes full on Tonis, goes to the breaking ball and can't connect. So first and second, nobody out. And Chad Santos, the batter, he struck out looking his first time up. That's the third walk, by the way, issued by Evert. Red Everett out of the Atlanta Braves organization. Santos, a left-handed batter. First and second, nobody out. 2-1, Javelinas, top of the fourth. And a fastball gets in there for a strike on Santos. Bubala with 7 stolen bases on the year. Everett delivers a pitch swung on and popped up down the left field line, but it is tailing foul and out of play. Talking about the Cubs and the fact that they make Mesa their winter home. Like a lot of towns who have spring training facilities, Mesa is very much Cubs country in the springtime, literally all year. In fact, at one point, the legendary Hall of Fame announcer Harry Carey and his partner Steve Stone had a restaurant just down the street. There's a broken back ground ball foul outside of first, and the barrel of the bat goes all the way out past the first baseman, Wilkin. So no balls and 2 strikes to Chris Santos. The bar and restaurant that Harry Carey and Steve Stone opened is still there. It's been sold, and it's now called, I think it's called Sluggo's. But when they opened that thing, you had to know somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody to get anywhere near it. Now the set and a spin move by Everett, and that'll get Bubala back to the bag.
Isn't it fun saying Bubala?
Actually, I was just going to say, it's not that easy to say Bubala back to the bag. But
it's a lot of fun. You almost feel like you just want to say it for the heck of it.
I'm getting to that point. Now the 0-2 pitch, and that's a breaking ball swung on and missed.
You know what? This is the second time they've got Santos with that breaking ball. They started off on the inside part of the plate, let it break in off the plate. A little aggressive on the left-handed shot. Can't come up with it. Second time, third strikeout already for Evert in this ballgame.
Well, it's pretty clear already that if hitters will just lay off of that breaking pitch. Evert early on in the ballgame was right in the strike zone with that hook, but lately inside, outside, but not right in the strike zone. Jim Horner, the batter, he lined as short his first time up, and he takes a fastball at the knees for a strike. Get home tonight, and the wife will ask me how to go today, and I'll say, Bubala.
That's all you have to say.
That's it. That sums it up.
You just walk away.
I'll have the kids saying it tonight.
There you go.
Now the 0-1 pitch, and that's grounded foul outside of third. Javelinas manager Frank White coaching down at third base. Bubala at second. Tonis at first, 1 out. Top of the fourth, 2-1, Javelinas. Now the set by Evert, And the 0-2 pitch is a breaking ball swung on and missed, and down he goes.
Just like you were saying, at this time, Evert set it up a little bit. Got ahead at 1-2 strikes. You can afford to throw that breaking pitch off the plate, see if you'll get a hitter to chase it. And that's exactly what Horner did. But if they lay off of it, it is a strike. But it's so difficult, especially from a right-handed matchup. You see that breaking ball start over the heart of the plate. You think it's going to hang up there, and all of a sudden it just breaks down and away. And it's not your traditional 12-6 curveball that Everett's got. It's almost got slider-type movement down and away.
You're exactly right. That's the kind of movement he's had throughout the ball game as the pitch to Dominic Rich is low for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. It just kind of sweeps across the plate like a slider would. And you can see why a right-handed hitter would be tempted to go after it, because it does start right in the zone. Now the 1-0 pitch, and that's low and outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Bubala started this inning off with a double. Tonis walked. Santos struck out swinging. Horner struck out swinging. So Everett a little wobbly to start the fourth, but now he's looking to get out of it without any damage. The 2-0 pitch to Rich is high.
I want to remind our listeners, Chris Schroeder from the Montreal Expos is going to join us next half inning. And a little bit later on, Alex Zumwalt of the Atlanta Braves organization will join us, as will Jonathan Mayo of MLB.com fame.
Now the 3-0 pitch, and Rich hits a ground ball to short. Johnson waits for it. He'll flip to second, covering for the force, and that'll do it for the Javelinas in the fourth. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. They leave 2, and at the end of 3.5, Javelinas 2, Solar Sox 1. And you're listening to Arizona Fall League Baseball live and exclusively on MLB.com radio.
Right now, fall is in full color at Kohl's. Kohl's has all the brands your family loves, like Nike, Levi's, Dockers, Mudd, Lee, Oshkosh, and many more. Every size, every color, fully stocked. And with Kohl's great sale prices, you can bundle up without spending a bundle. Plus, you'll enjoy Kohl's hassle-free returns, stroller carts, easy checkouts, and storefront parking. So come on in and see what's new for fall at Kohl's. Kohl's. Shop happy, leave happy.
Hey, Cardinals fans, STLCardinals.com is the official website for Cardinals information. Don't miss a second of the action. STLCardinals.com is the only place for live baseball action on the net with game day audio. Watch video highlights of every game with postgame.tv. Heading to the ballpark? Buy tickets to any game and buy the latest Cardinal gear online at the shop. For diehard Cards fans like you, STLCardinals.com, the #1 site for Cardinals fans.
Being inducted into the Hall of Fame is the ultimate after you had a successful major league career. Of course, I took 4 years out for World War II. I joined the Navy 2 days after Pearl Harbor, and I'm very proud to be an American and hope I've been a good one.
Relive your fondest memories of Bob Feller and see his Hall of Fame plaque at the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. For more information, visit us on the web at baseballhalloffame.org or call 888-HALL of Fame.
Bases are loaded. There's the hot shot to 11-year-old right fielder Smith. Smith relays the ball to Baker. Baker fires to Ellis. Ellis to Purdy. Purdy to Stern. And Stern can cut off mascot. Now that's
teamwork. Just one lesson kids learn through the Baseball Tomorrow Fund, a partnership between Major League Baseball and its players that connects kids with baseball and softball programs worldwide. To learn more, visit baseballtomorrowfund.com.
We enter the bottom of the fourth with the Javelinas leading the Solar Sox 2-1, along with Victor Rojas, Jeff Mudd at Hohokam Park in Mesa, and we're very pleased to have a very special guest, Victor, from the Montreal Expos, right-handed pitcher Chris Schroeder. And Chris, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Looks like the weather's going to hang in here for us. So
it's probably the first time this season down here. I was just saying last year. I remember we had a couple of rainouts, and really hasn't really been a factor down here this fall league.
We just had a couple of days where it sprinkled a little bit and it gets a little hazy, and it seems to clear up and turn out pretty nice for us.
You're with the Montreal Expos organization. I guess the first question that pops to mind to me is knowing that the big club is owned by Major League Baseball, and it always seems as if they're kind of like in this go-between. You don't know what's going to happen with the big club. Does that trickle down at all to the minor leaguers? I mean, does it put you guys in limbo at all?
Not really, because I think we're like about anybody else. We really don't know what's going to happen either. I mean, we get the questions all the time, but we have no idea. I think any more than any other person knows. We hear nothing. They tell us nothing. I think we just go out and play and take it from there.
Sure. And now you're pretty much a closer, reliever.
Yes.
You look around, you see Omar Minaya in the stands today. Does that put any additional pressure, knowing that the general manager is down here, that I got to step it up a little bit, whether your numbers are good or bad in the Arizona Fall League, knowing that these guys, these front office guys, are here now to watch you? Any additional pressure on you?
I don't think there's any really additional pressure. You want to, obviously you want to succeed, but I think when you start putting the pressure on you, that's when you're going to go out and you're going to get out of your element a little bit and maybe struggle. So I think you got to take it the same, and whether they're here or not, they still know what you're doing.
Sure.
Jason Dubois, the batter. Johnny Gomes led off the inning by popping out to short, and the count to Dubois is 1 ball and no strikes. And the pitch to him is lifted into right center field. Backing up on it is Strong. He's going to watch it go. Home run, Jason Dubois. His 9th home run of the year, which now gives him the Arizona Fall League lead in home runs, and it ties the ball game up at 2.
Yeah, he's shown some pretty good pop here in this league, and just now 3 away from what would be tying Tagbo's age record. He set 12 last year in the Arizona Fall League, and he's done a nice job. And you guys, being a pitcher, of course, you're used to seeing some pretty good hitters down here, and that's one of them. Any one particular guy stand out for you that you say that this guy's a legit big leaguer waiting to happen?
Another guy on the team that is, obviously showed a lot of pop down here is Gomes.
Sure.
He's he can maybe be a little intimidating some guys, but you definitely don't want to miss because he'll hurt you.
Sure. Now, what one thing are you working on down here in the Arizona Fall? What did they tell you when you came down here? And we need you to do this, whether it's off speed, pick off moves, whatever.
For me, it's more working the fastball down a little more and my slider. My slider's always been, it's my 3rd best pitch, and that's always what they're trying to tighten up a little bit for me and, get that a little stronger. So that's what I've been working on.
Sure.
The count 2 balls and 1 strike on the hitter Chris Wilkin out of the Baltimore Orioles organization with the bases empty and 1 out. We're in the bottom of the 4th and a 2-2 tie between the Javelinas and Solar Sox, and a pitch is swung on and popped up into left field. There's the left fielder Jaime Bubala there to make the catch, and there's 2 down.
Now, Chris, you're from Oklahoma. I know you didn't go to the University of Oklahoma. You went to Oklahoma City University. Now, did you think it was a little bit classless on Bob Stoops' part to run up the score the way he did this past weekend? Who was it again? Texas A&M?
A&M, yeah.
Texas A&M. You can throw him under the bus. It's all right. Nothing wrong with that.
I don't think it was. The last 2 games they ran up a little bit against Oklahoma State and A&M because last year they were obviously the #1 team, and then they ended up suffering losses to both those teams last year. So I think it was a little bit of redemption.
So payback.
They weren't going to let it happen this year.
So you think they really needed to score 77 points to nothing to make their point?
They had the second team in the whole second half. So I mean, they can't stop them. What are we going to do?
Well, that's understood. But when it's 44 to nothing and you're still running out your first team offense, I got a feeling you're a Sooner boomer.
Absolutely.
Are you?
Yeah.
Really? Do you think that they're overrated? Do you think they're actually a pretty good ball club?
They're very good.
Yeah. Do you think they're the best team in the nation?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Not Southern California? Not LSU?
No chance.
No chance?
No.
So who do you see the Oklahoma Sooners matching up with for the national championship? Assuming they win out.
Yes. Well, they're going to win out. But I think they're going to be USC, it looks like.
I was just going to say, Kansas is not on their schedule, the remaining schedule, right?
No.
Okay.
But you watch out for those up-and-coming Jayhawks.
I was just going to say.
They're playing better this year.
You're assuming they're running the table. That Kansas must not be on the schedule.
No. If they were still on the radar screen, I'd say you got to watch out for the Jayhawks. That rock chalk will get you,
Starting in late November in basketball.
Now, we could talk about basketball. We know the Jayhawks own the Oklahoma Sooners. They have for years.
Yeah, I got to give you that.
Yeah. I mean, you can go back to Wayman Tisdale, but that's pretty much the only thing you guys, that and Ryan Miner. That's all you guys can really throw at us. We actually have some banners that hang up the championship banner,
See, right now Wayman Tisdale's making jazz albums, so that doesn't count.
So what's it like for you, man? You come from Oklahoma. It's a big football area, of course. There are some good baseball schools there. Oklahoma's pretty good baseball. Oklahoma State was very good back when I was in high school, and Gary Ward used to be the coach at Oklahoma State. I know they've gone through some transition there. I mean, when you look at guys that come from that part of the country, that it seems as if it's more football related. Is that tougher for you? I mean, as a baseball guy, having to choose in high school?
It wasn't for me because, I mean, I was a much better baseball player, but I think it's become a lot easier. There seems to be a lot more scouts around there now. There used to, you had to maybe go play somebody more to be seen because there's a lot of scouts that, in Texas and Florida and California, obviously. But playing a lot of those Texas schools, you get a lot of recognition and you get seen.
Sure. Dallin Young singled and then was followed by a fly ball to center from Kelly Johnson to close out the Solar Sox fourth. So they get the game even on the Dubois home run. 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and they leave 1. And at the end of 4, a 2-2 tie. You're listening to Arizona Fall League action live and exclusively on MLB.com radio.
This is Andy Pettit of the New York Yankees. It's never easy to stand your ground when facing the best hitters in the game, but with practice, you gain confidence. To teach values that go beyond the diamond, Major League Baseball charities and Boys and Girls Clubs of America have teamed up to bring baseball and softball to kids around the world. Through programs like RBI and Rookie League, boys and girls learn about teamwork, fair play, and respect. Because when kids believe in themselves, amazing things can happen.
Get the perfect gift for the baseball fan in your life at MLB Shop on MLB.com. You can purchase jackets, jerseys, caps, and clothes for men, women, and children. Get a snazzy new batting practice jersey or a classic replica jersey of your favorite team. You can even customize your jersey. Best of all, it can all be done online. Plus, the MLB Shop has baseball cards, bobblehead dolls, books, videos, and so much more. All purchases are private and secure, and the MLB Shop accepts all major credit cards. Click on the MLB Shop button at the top right of MLB.com and get that perfect gift today.
Raven, we've got bandits at 1 o'clock.
Lights on.
Engaging now.
What kind of person can handle an F-16 dueling in a Mach-speed dogfight? Why, a math teacher, of course, when she's in the National Guard and Reserve. Nearly half of today's military are members of the Guard and Reserve, but they can't do it without their employer support. If you're an employer, visit www.esgr.org and learn how to do your part. After all, their response depends on yours. A public service message from ESGR and the Ad Council.
Top of the 5th and a 2-2 tie. Jamal Strong bunts left side. It's barehanded by Evert, who throws to first in time. Nice play. And a great cover by Wilkin at first, who had to go down to pick that ball. But the putout goes 1-3, and Strong is gone after attempting to butt his way aboard. Along with Victor Rojas, Jeff Munn, we thank our very special guest, Chris Schroeder from the Montreal Expos, for joining us. Seemed to handle all the inquiries about Oklahoma football pretty well.
He wears it proudly. Nothing wrong with that.
Not at all. So 1 down, and Russ Adams will be the batter. Adams has walked and doubled. Out of the Toronto Blue Jays organization, takes a pitch on the outside corner for a strike. Two runs, 3 hits, no errors for the Javelinas. 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Solar Sox. Everett comes back to his hitter, and it's a ground ball to the right side. Lewis is right there to grab it, throws to first in time, and there's 2 down. Now David DeJesus, who flied to center in the first and hit a run-scoring fly ball to left in the third. So he is 0 for 1 with a run batted in. I'm sure there are some people who are listening today in the eastern half of this country who might be wondering just what in the world a javelina is. Or maybe they're not. Ground ball outside of first foul and the count, no balls and 1 strike. A javelina, did you not know what a javelina is?
I did not know. I know what a saguaro is.
It's cactus. Yeah. A javelina is a pig that is more commonly found in this part of the country, say, than maybe up in Maine. The 0-1 pitch is low. It's a desert pig.
Is it like a boar?
Yeah. A little like.
Is it a wild pig?
It is a wild pig. In fact, if you go to one of the bookstores here in the great state of Arizona, you can find a book called The 3 Little Javelinas.
Really?
Which today Jesus is inside, 2 balls and a strike. I've read it many, many times. You should get a copy of it to read to Mattingly.
I will do so.
The 3 Little Javelinas.
Whatever helps her fall asleep throughout the night.
Amen, brother. 2-1 pitch is lined right at the second baseman, Lewis, for the 3rd out of the inning. Lewis in his tracks put that one away, and just like that, the Javelinas are gone 1-2-3 in the fifth, and at the end of 4.5, it remains a 2-2 tie. You're listening to Arizona Fall League Baseball live and exclusively on MLB.com radio.
I'm Bob Costas. This year would have marked Lou Gehrig's 100th birthday. The legendary Iron Horse of baseball gave his heart and soul to America's favorite pastime, but he gave his life and name to the fatal disease, ALS, now best known as Lou Gehrig's disease. You can help strike out ALS. Call the ALS Association at 1-800-782-4747 or log on to alsa.org. Thanks.
Your grandparents came here.
The long drive, and it's a home run for Joe DiMaggio.
Your parents came here.
Here comes Roger Maris in to score, and Cepeda pulling to second with a double.
Now it's your turn.
Number 3,000 for one of the great players of all time, George Brett.
Cooperstown, New York. A tradition of excellence for 7 decades. Be a part of it. For information, call 1-888-HALL of Fame.
From the first pitch of spring training to the last pitch of the World Series, MLB.com radio brings unique and exclusive coverage of Major League Baseball. That continues during the winter months with Arizona Fall League action, hot stove reports, and baseball winter meetings. In November, check out live and exclusive play-by-play of Arizona Fall League action with the hottest prospects in baseball. December means baseball's winter meetings live from New Orleans as we bring you conversations with the managers and team officials from every ball club. Get the latest news with free agent signings and off-season moves on the Hot Stove Shows, and get updates on Winter League and the news from the minor leagues on the Baseball America Hour. Your #1 baseball source all year long. This is MLB.com radio.
Bottom of the fifth and a 2-2 tie. Arizona Fall League Baseball, final week of the regular season. Jeff Munn and Victor Rojas at Hohokam Park in Mesa, an east side suburb of Phoenix. Population somewhere in the neighborhood of about 350,000. This is the third largest city in the state of Arizona. And the first batter up for the Solar Sox in the fifth, Brad Hopp out of the Colorado Rockies organization, and he takes a pitch low, ball 1 ball and no strikes. Reimers into the windup and the pitch on the way, and that's grounded foul outside of first. We were talking about what a javelina is, just to even things out. I have never seen anyone wearing Solar socks.
So you have no idea what a Solar sock is?
No, I've never seen it. Don't know. 0-2 pitch, and Hopp takes that high and outside.
Well, that's kind of interesting.
Although I've heard that there are some socks, I guess, that you can stick in a microwave, gun them for about a minute, and it's very nice to wear in colder weather. There's a hard smash down the right field line. That ball is going to drop in and bounce over the wall for a ground rule double. Hopp smoked that ball, and DeJesus had no shot at catching up with it, and so Hopp leads off the fifth with a ground rule double.
Yeah, third double given up in this game by Cameron Reimers. And also the fourth extra base hit, of course, Jason DuBois' home run in the fourth inning to tie this score up.
Now Casey Kopitsky, the batter. If there is such a thing as a hometown favorite, unless you're talking about the Arizona Diamondbacks, this would be a case, as he's a Chicago Cub player. A hard smash up the middle, grounded by the shortstop Adams, who throws to first in time, and on the play, Hopp takes third.
And Kopitsky has struggled offensively down here. Came in hitting a .185, 0 for 2 now. But he's a guy that has seen plenty of action in the Arizona Fall League. So the Cubs, of course, want him to succeed, as they want all their players to succeed down here as they mature and grow and leading up to spring training next year.
So one down, a runner at third. Richard Lewis, the batter. He's 1 for 2, I should say, lined to third and singled. Came into the day batting .392. The pitch to him is low, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. The infield plays in this 2-2 tie in the bottom of the fifth with Hopp at third and 1 out. Now the set by Reimers, and the 1-0 pitch is fouled back to the screen. Lewis is one of many players in the lineup today for the Solar Sox who are among the top 10 in the AFL in batting. In fact, they have 4 players in the starting lineup who rank in the top 10 in batting average. Lewis's .392 average entering the day is second in the league, behind teammate as Lewis takes a pitch high and outside. And the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Now Reimers ready, and his pitch is grounded foul at the plate.
Oh, we should wish a hearty congratulations to both Angel Baroa of the Kansas City Royals organization, as well as Dontrell Willis of the Florida Marlins organization, being named American League and National League Rookies of the Year, respectively, this afternoon.
2 balls and 2 strikes.
Angel Baroa, a Scottsdale Scorpion back in 2001.
So another product of the Arizona Fall League, as a pitch by Lewis is fouled back. Don't think there'd be a whole lot of people arguing with Baroa's selection. The National League race was a scramble, to say the least. You had so many worthy candidates.
Yep.
As Reimers comes set, and the 2-2 pitch to Lewis is low. You have Willis, Brandon Webb, Scott Podsednik,
Oscar Villarreal. There was plenty of guys.
Very hard to look past Willis, obviously, the 14 wins.
You couldn't have gone wrong with any of the 3 picks.
No. There's a fly ball into right center field that's going to drop in for a base hit. Hop will walk home with the tie-breaking run on an RBI single by Richard Lewis, and it's 3-2 Solar Sox in the 5th.
That leadoff double comes back to haunt Cameron Reimers. He's pitched fairly well this afternoon, as has Red Evert. Both throwing strikes, getting ahead, and it's been kind of a seesaw battle here.
So a runner at first, 1 out, and a run in to give the Solar Sox a 3-2 lead, and Brendan Harris will be the batter. He doubled and scored in the first, hit into his 6-4-3 double play in the third. Harris out of the Cubs organization. As we were saying, the Solar Sox have lots of offensive punch in the lineup today. The first 5 hitters in the order all came into the day batting over 300. Reimers delivers a pitch high and inside. And I misspoke. Lewis at .392. Does not have a teammate immediately behind him. There's a ground ball through into right field for a base hit. Lewis to second. He'll hold there on a single by Brendan Harris. And that's the 8th hit allowed by Reimers, and he's going to get a visit from his pitching coach, Mark Grader, out of the Montreal Expos organization.
Yeah, and that'll get Wiley up from the White Sox organization. It's the first time that Javelinas have had to get somebody up. Frank White, as well as Pat Kelly, both managers here in the Arizona Fall League, that if they tell their starters you're scheduled to go 5 innings, they basically let them go 5 innings, unless, of course, they get in a little trouble. They don't play matchups too often here. This, of course, being a developmental league, the Arizona Fall League, in its 12th season. But there are occasions in which certain managers, coaches, played a little bit more seriously than others.
Johnny Gomes will be the batter out of Tampa Bay, and he grounds one foul outside of third. First and second, 1 out, 3-2 Solar Sox, bottom of the 5th. There was a serious rooting interest, I think, in all 3 camps of the main candidates for National League Rookie of the Year. And each of them made a very strong case. So as you say, Victor, I don't think you could have gone wrong no matter how you went on that vote. The pitch outside to Gomes, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. And this is just the start, as the awards will now start to be handed out on a regular basis over the next couple of weeks in Major League Baseball. The 1-1 pitch, and that's lifted into straightaway center. Backing up is Strong. Settles under it, makes the catch. The runner Lewis tags, and he'll make third easily. So a fly ball from Gomes advances Lewis to third and puts runners at the corners with 2 out. And Jason Dubois, who hit a home run back in the 4th inning, will be the batter. Dubois hit a shot into right center that cleared the fence for his 9th home run of the year, which at the moment gives him the AFL lead in home runs over his teammate Johnny Gomes. First and third, 2 out. Reimers sets, and the first pitch coming to Dubois is high and inside. The general managers meetings taking place at the Arizona Biltmore Resort up in Central Phoenix. Reimers with the 1-0. It's a ground ball to Hankins, who scoops it up, throws to second for the force, and that's it. Hankins has been doing that all day long. Liners, backhanders, doesn't matter. Scoops it all up. For the Solar Sox in the 5th, 1 run, 3 hits, no errors, and they leave 2. And at the end of 5, Solar Sox 3, Javelinas 2. You're listening to Arizona Fall League Baseball, live and exclusively on MLB.com radio.
I'm Bob Costas. This year would have marked Lou Gehrig's 100th birthday. The legendary Iron Horse of Baseball gave his heart and soul to America's favorite pastime, but he gave his life and name to the fatal disease, ALS, now best known as Lou Gehrig's disease. You can help strike out ALS. Call the ALS Association at 1-800-782-4747 or log on to alsa.org. Thanks.
Your grandparents came here.
The long drive, and it's a home run for Joe DiMaggio.
Your parents came here.
Here comes Roger Maris in to score, and Cepeda pulling the second with a double.
Now it's your turn.
Number 3,000 for one of the great players of all time, George Brett.
Cooperstown, New York. A tradition of excellence for 7 decades. Be a part of it. For information, call 1-888-HALL of Fame.
From the first pitch of spring training to the last pitch of the World Series, MLB.com radio brings unique and exclusive coverage of Major League Baseball. That continues during the winter months with Arizona Fall League action, hot stove reports, and baseball winter meetings. In November, check out live and exclusive play-by-play of Arizona Fall League action with the hottest prospects in baseball. December means baseball's winter meetings live from New Orleans as we bring you conversations with the managers and team officials from every ball club. Get the latest news with free agent signings and off-season moves on the Hot Stove Shows. Get updates on Winter League and the news from the minor leagues on the Baseball America Hour. Number 1 baseball source all year long. This is MLB.com radio. Sixth inning here at Mesa's Hohokam Park. And the Solar Sox make a move to the bullpen to bring on right-hander Josh Fields out of the Chicago White Sox organization. Brett Evert, 5 innings, gave up 2 runs on 3 hits, struck out 4, walked 3. Struggled a bit with his fastball, but had great command of his curve for the most part, and used it very effectively. And Fields will come on now, inheriting a 3-2 lead, and he will face Ryan Hankins. The first pitch to him is in there for a strike. We're going to be joined in a moment by a special guest. I don't know about special. Okay, a guest. Hankins checks his swing and takes outside to count 1 ball and 1 strike. Fields is making his second appearance of the AFL schedule. He's allowed an earned run and an inning of work. And his 1-1 pitch is low. Well, we'll let the audience be the judge how special he is. He's an expert. Well, then that makes him special. Jonathan Mayo joins us, and hopefully Jonathan Mayo, his microphone will work. 2-1 pitch is a breaking ball swung on and missed. You want to try it again? I was trying to say something clever. No. It didn't work, and you brought a pair of headphones that don't work. That's not good.
2-2 pitch is a high chopper to the left side, backhanded by Johnson, whose long throw is not in time, but a nice play by Johnson to get to that ball. So a leadoff single for Ryan Hankins, who's also had a very nice game defensively. And Jaime Bubala will be the batter. You got here right at the right time, Jonathan. Jaime Bubala.
I can't hear that name enough.
Neither can my broadcast partner.
I know.
Can't say it enough, can't hear it enough.
Barzilla de Bubala. I like it. That works. Tell us about Josh Fields. You're the minor league guru now. You're like Baseball America almost.
I should have come in the first inning when I actually knew who was playing.
You don't know any of these guys?
I don't know anything about Josh Fields.
Nothing about. He's from the White Sox.
Look at the uniform.
He's a right-hander.
Well, Monty, I tell you what, Jonathan and I used to work together doing a morning show, and it was a blast. Thankfully, I don't have to work with him anymore.
Yeah, a ground ball by Bubala is taken by the second baseman, Lewis, who throws to second for the force, but the throw back to first goes over the head of Wilkin, and Bubala is aboard. Bubala is aboard.
Yes, he is. So what have you been doing with yourself, Mr. Mayo?
Since when?
Since the last time I spoke to you.
I just got out here over the weekend, and obviously there was no...
I see you've gotten some sunshine.
A little sunshine, yeah. A little bit of sunshine, and this is the first day of action I've actually been able to take in, so I was just trying to talk to as many people beforehand as possible, working on a story on Russ Adams, the Blue Jays shortstop prospect, right as we speak.
Did you ask Mr. Gammon's permission to talk to JP?
Yes, I did.
You did? Okay.
I had to call him.
I
had to call him first. It was strange. There was a whole hand signals semaphore thing done that I was a little surprised by, but it worked out okay in the end. That was just by chance, actually, by the fact that JP and pretty much the entire Blue Jays player development team is actually in the stands here today. So I was able to talk to him. I thought I was just going to be talking to Russ Adams today, but that worked out well. Working on a couple of other things as well, featuring Chris Young, the Expos pitching prospect, who I saw play basketball in college, and I went to Penn, so of course I had to rip on him a little bit because I think
and you have to throw it in there.
I don't think he beat Penn once when he was at Princeton. So.
There's a line shot into right center from Mike Tonis that's going to drop in for a base hit. Bubala is on his way for third, and he'll make it in there easily.
Now, you know, it's funny you mentioned that the entire player development staff of the Toronto Blue Jays is here. Ironically enough, if they had saved some of that money, they actually might be able to put it towards a free agent signee. But instead, they decided to bring and cater everyone first class here.
I'm not sure what kind of free agent they'd be able to sign by keeping two of those guys at home.
You never know.
Yeah, didn't you guys read Moneyball? You're supposed to come to the fall league. That's how to invest the money.
Exactly.
Oh, is that it?
Come and they find guys and minor league free agents and that sort of thing.
Maybe I should have kept reading the book before I threw it away.
Maybe you should have.
I read the whole thing. You want to ask me any questions?
I read the whole thing.
Kind of is the word that pops into mind.
Wow, I enjoyed it.
Did you?
I thought it was a good book.
You know a lot more about Bill James than you ever did before, don't you?
Well, and I know enough about Bill James. We'll leave it at that.
That's fair. I mean, you know what? I think it was actually more of a book, and this is really not at all the direction I thought that this visit was going to go. But
that's the beauty of this broadcast.
I'm used to working with Victor also, so you know.
So why are you surprised?
You're right. Is that it was a book for people who aren't huge baseball fans. They enjoyed it because it was written by a guy who clearly just did not know a ton about baseball. But I know some people who read it and who aren't baseball fans at all, and they found it very interesting.
Right. Well, and it's interesting in a sense that, you know, I got deep enough in the book to know some of the guys that, you know, that whole draft process, and some of those guys are here, the Nick Swishers of the world that are actually here, Dan Johnson and so on and so forth. And that's kind of cool to see that play out and actually have myself evaluate these guys.
It's gone.
Yep. As Chad Santos drives one over the left field wall for a 3-run homer, and just like that, the Javelinas take a 5-3 lead.
That ball doesn't seem like it was going to get out of here at all.
No. The left fielder, Hawk, just kept going back, and before he knew it, he ran out of room. Second home run of the year for Santos, and it brings his RBI total to 11. And Josh Fields has wiped out the 5 innings of good work by Brett Evert just like that.
Attaboy. Attaboy, Josh. Will you get a chance to talk to some of these general managers from the standpoint of what's going on at the big league level? I mean, are you just strictly covering the minor leagues?
I'm all minor leagues now all the time. Obviously, when at the winter meetings, I'll probably sort of wear many hats, but my main thing now is player development and minor league stuff, and which is good because since so many of these general managers start from a scouting background, and at least in a lot of regards, they love talking prospects, even more so than talking about the big league stuff. So
sure.
It's a lot of fun. Talking to JP about Russ Adams, there's a lot of talk about whether or not Russ Adams will ever be a big league shortstop just because of his arm strength. And he was saying that, he signed Mike Bordick, and when he signed him, I don't think if someone had told him that he would spend 13 years in the big leagues as a shortstop, no one would believe him because he was that kind of player. So you never know what can happen, and the Blue Jays now have two of those kinds of players because of the guy they drafted in the first round, whose first name now escapes me, Hall from LSU, who's a similar kind of shortstop, and they'll just have to see what happens with that. But it's good to have that kind of strength.
Are you going to stick around with us?
I'll stick around. Okay.
I was just going to vote that he should stick around.
There you go.
I mean, why not?
Fine by me.
Jim Horner strikes out, and Dominic Rich grounds to first to close out the inning. But the Javelinas get a lead on a 3-run homer by Chad Santos. 3 runs on 2 hits, or 3 hits, I should say. No runs, nobody left, or no errors, nobody left. You guys got me all confused.
Blame it on us.
At the end of 5 1/2, Javelinas lead the Solar Sox 5-3, and you're listening to Arizona Fall League Baseball, and a little bit beyond that too, live and exclusively on MLB.com radio.
MLB.com radio heats up even as the weather cools down. Join Diamondbacks broadcaster and MLB.com radio contributor Victor Rojas as we bring you Arizona Fall League action. Just because the World Series is over doesn't mean the play stops. Check out some of the best the minor leagues has to offer with prospects like Delman Young, J.D. Durbin, and J.R. House, just steps away from the big time. Victor Rojas in Arizona Fall League action. It's MLB.com radio heating up on the road to the 2004 season. And don't worry, it's a dry heat.
You love the game. You love your team. And you love your friends and family. So to get home safely, you hand off your keys to a sober, designated driver. America's all-star team of sports leagues, stadium service partners, brewers, broadcasters, and traffic safety experts thanks the sober, designated drivers who make sure you buckle up and get you home safely.
Victor Rojas has done it all. He's played minor league baseball, worked the bullpen as a catcher with the Florida Marlins. He was the general manager of a minor league team that won a championship, and now he works as part of the broadcast team for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Yet with all of that, Victor still finds time to fill us with many baseball tidbits.
Since you're all fired up, Ricky's a pretty quotable guy.
Yeah.
Just ask him. I don't want to be one of those great players who never made it to the series. He played in 3 World Series. Well, I'm not one of them, so that's 49% right there on Ken Caminiti's claim that at least 50% of the big leaguers use steroids. Wait, it gets better. Steve Finley was Henderson's teammate in San Diego. The tale has them boarding a bus when Finley told Henderson, sit anywhere you want, you've got tenure. To which Henderson said, 10 years? What are you talking about? Ricky got 16, 17 years. Oh, that's classic.
Victor Rojas, attitude, humor, and knowledge of the game. Just another few reasons to listen to MLB.com radio.
Believe it.
Bottom of the 6th, 5-3 Javelinas, and Peoria makes a pitching change for right-hander Mitch Wiley, who, like Josh Fields, is out of the White Sox organization. And he starts off here with a fastball high and in to Chris Wilkin. And the count 1 ball and no strikes. We're joined by Jonathan Mayo of MLB.com, we being Jeff Munn and Victor Rojas. A fly ball to left is put away by Bubala. And there's 1 out.
Well, I tell you what, Cameron Reimers, 5 innings of work, 8 hits, a strikeout, a walk, 3 runs scored. Didn't appear to have outstanding control, but good enough to put his ball club in a position to win, Jonathan Mayo.
Well, that's what it's all about here in the Fall League. I was actually surprised in talking to some guys on the Solar Sox who are actually really excited about the possibility of sewing this up and playing in the championship game. I had just assumed that nobody really cared.
Sure.
Obviously, you want to win, but it's not the first or main objective of the league here.
That's some serious hardware. You win if you win the Arizona Fall League Championship.
That's right.
A lot of bling bling.
Is it bling bling?
Bling blinging.
I didn't know you could talk about plastic as bling bling.
There's a lot of ice on that bling bling. Oh man.
You were talking about the performance performance Reimers had, and in talking to some people here about the pitching in general, the fall league, I think they're kind of disappointed in the level of prospects here, and the fact that the main difference between here and maybe the big leagues in the pitching is that guys aren't able to throw pitches where they want. You see a lot of guys up 0-2 throwing too good of a pitch. Yeah. Where at the next level, you're just not. If they get hammered here for it, they're definitely going to get hammered up there.
Yeah, and the one thing I've seen, too, the last 2 weeks, when you see a guy get ahead 0-2, and a guy who doesn't have pinpoint control trying to nibble, and then all of a sudden it's 3-2, and then it's either a walk or a hit. So you're right. I agree. There's a lot of teams here, a lot of guys here that are just really marginal A prospects, as opposed to in years past where you see AA, AAA guys that are probably going to be a big league camp next year with a shot of making it, an outside shot of making a big league club.
I wonder if that has been the biggest thing, why a guy like DeJuan Brazelton has been so excellent, aside from clearly things clicking into place a little bit for him as he went all the way back down to A ball to sort of not reinvent himself, but find the pitcher that was such a highly hyped prospect. But he understands how it's supposed to work, and maybe that's why he's had a little more success.
Kelly Johnson hits one off the batter's eye in center field with 2 out and the bases empty, and he'll jog his way into second with a double.
That ball was smoked. And Kelly Johnson's a guy you like from the Braves.
He is a guy I like, actually, and he is a guy who was a prospect and then kind of faded a little bit and then sort of has come back. I think a lot of people were lumping him in with Wilson Betterment a little bit, just as a shortstop in the Braves organization who sort of came quickly. And the thing with the Braves that you never can tell is that they have a tendency from time to time to hype their prospects a little bit too much, mostly so then they can then trade them to get the parts that they need. But I think that's what's happened with Wilson Betterman anyway, who made it all the way to AAA quickly and may never, ever leave the fine city of Richmond, Virginia.
Are you sure about that?
Well, eventually he will.
All right.
Brad Hopp's the batter with a runner at second and 2 out in the inning. 5-3 Peoria, and a pitch low and in. There was let me ask you a question, Jonathan, about the overall feeling about not just the fall league this year, but the league in general, because I was a bit surprised. One of our local columnists, who was out Friday at Scottsdale as Hopp swings and misses, made a comment in his column that there were some critics of the fall league, the whole concept, which is news to me because everybody I've talked to in baseball, from a development standpoint, says this is a great thing and it has paid dividends 100 times over.
I think all you have to do is look at the number of players who have graduated from the AFL to the big leagues to get a sense of what benefit it's had. And one of the main reasons they started it was so development people could keep closer tabs on their players when they went down to the Dominican or Puerto Rico or wherever. You couldn't dictate how much they played. If you wanted a guy to try out a new position, or you wanted a guy to switch from starting to relieving, the teams in the Dominicans say they would want certain ways to win, so they wouldn't necessarily listen to an organization's wishes as much as they would here.
And it works out much better here. A liner to right will close out the inning. And are we saying goodbye to Mr.
No,
Peter
he's going to stick around.
Yeah, he should stick around.
Yeah, I don't have to write or anything.
That's good. I mean, just hold whatever thought you had.
That's fine.
We'll be back in a second. For the Solar Sox in the 6th, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, they leave 1. And at the end of 6, Javelinas 5, Solar Sox 3. You're listening to Arizona Fall League Baseball live and exclusively on MLB.com radio.
Hey, Fantasy Baseball freaks and geeks. The Fantasy 411 is back for the 2003 offseason with Corey Schwartz and me, Mike Piano, every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll give you the fantasy impact of all the offseason moves like free agent signings, trades, and even front office changes. Plus, we'll answer all your emails at radio@MLB.com. So don't get caught up in all the turkey and all that holiday shopping this offseason. Check us out on the Fantasy 411 every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on MLB.com radio.
Hey, baseball fans. Only MLB.com takes you straight from the ballpark to your computer. So don't miss a second of the action. Check out MLB.com, the only place for live baseball online. Get live games with MLB.tv and game day audio. See live stats with MLB.com's unique game day feature. For fans who just can't get enough of the game, MLB.com, the official site for all things baseball, the #1 site for Major League Baseball fans.
I was 0 for 11, and it was the year that we got Johnny Mize. He said, I'm going to fix my bat up for you. So I'm up there the first time using the bat, and pitch it through and high and inside. I duck, I got the ball, hit the bat, line drive base hit, and I got 199 after that.
Relive your fondest memories of Phil Rizzuto and see his Hall of Fame plaque at the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. Visit us on the web at baseballhalloffame.org or call 888-HALL-OF-FAME.
What's the deal with Freddie Garcia? Mariner pitching coach Brian Price enlightens us.
What really happened with Freddie is his ball started to come up and straighten out up in the zone, and he was giving up a lot of extra base hits and home runs, throwing a lot of breaking balls to try to miss bats and things of that nature. Kind of shortened up his arm circle to get the ball down and added a slider and moved him over on the rubber. Probably the biggest thing is that he did for himself was just became more aggressive.
The hottest issues in the game. MLB.com radio.
If you cover the Angels, it's perfect.
Yeah, I've seen that. Jonathan Mayo, Victor Ross, Jeff Munn, live from Mesa's Hohokam Park. Top of the 7th inning we go.
Is this thing on?
It is on. Just keep talking about your wife over at the Wyndham Hotel, big man. I'm sure we all would like to know about it. It's a very nice place.
It is lovely.
5-3.
The Wyndham people are just wonderful.
Yeah, Javelinas lead it.
Got to keep that sponsorship.
And Wyndham's, proud sponsor of MLB.com radio.
Yes. Sure, now they are.
Now they are. New pitching change for the Mesa Solar Sox.
How do you spell resign?
Jose Evert comes in relief of Josh Fields, who lasted an inning, gave up 3 hits, 3 runs, including the 3-run shot to Chad Santos. And Jamal Strong hits a slow roller right side. And Lewis has got it on to Wilkin in time for out number 1. Now, Jamal Strong's a guy I kind of like a little bit. Him and the kid Thompson from the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah.
As far as leadoff hitter.
No, I do like Jamal Strong a lot, and if people are sort of following and wanting to know, well, do the Mariners have any real prospects here? I think you can sort of fit prospects into a couple different categories when they come to the fall league. One, the guys are about ready to make the next leap, and they're sort of just polishing their game and showing they're ready for the big leagues. Then there are guys like Jamal Strong, maybe Ben Hendrickson, who missed a lot of time during the year. Jamal Strong missed almost the entire year because of an injury he suffered in spring training. So he's here mostly just to get at-bats, repetitions, and get some of his timing back. So the overall numbers really don't necessarily indicate what kind of player that he is.
Now, are you going to be with me throughout the week?
I will.
And including the championship game that goes off at, I believe it's going to be 1 o'clock, 1:05 on Saturday. That's 1:05 Mountain Time. Therefore, it's 3:05 Eastern Time.
Nicely done.
Yeah, because I get screwed up here with this Mountain Time.
Well, and then there's a daylight savings.
Because we never change our clocks here. That's the weird thing.
I know.
Yeah, we never.
You have no farmers in Arizona.
None.
I guess.
No, but we got javelinas. You know what a javelina is?
No.
It's like a big pig.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a boar.
Yeah.
It's a wild
pig. We established that earlier.
Yeah, so, and a big boar is something that's often been
Stacey
used to describe Victor's radio ability.
Yeah. Stacey Flores, the Executive Vice President of Public Relations for the Arizona Fall League, just chiming in from the background there. And
I didn't realize she was an executive vice
Oh,
president.
sure. Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
Congratulations.
Senior Executive Vice President. Ground ball right side off
Senior
of Wilkins.
executive
In the right field. Should be a base hit for Russ Adams. But I wanted to find out, and Jeff and I were talking about this, Stacey. We have no idea what a solar sock is.
You ever had a solar sock?
What is that?
You ever worn a solar sock?
What is that?
I don't know.
Any
guesses? No.
A lot of blank stares here in the booth.
I like the hats, though.
The hats are cool. So they got that going for them. One out, and David DeJesus will step in, and Alex Zumwalt is going to join us from the Atlanta Braves organization. Mayo, you going to stay here?
I got to go right.
All right. Thank you, Jonathan.
But also, it's a crowded booth in here.
It is a crowded booth. This is as busy as this booth has been in 3 weeks.
There you go.
Thank God.
I'll be back tomorrow.
All right, buddy. Take care. Appreciate your help.
Thanks, Jonathan.
That's Jonathan Mayo of MLB.com joining us here in the booth. And Alex Zumwalt of the Atlanta Braves joins us now. Alex, hurry up and sit down. You got 2 outs to talk, big man. How's everything going?
It's going all right.
Just all right. DeJesus single to left field. That'll put runners at first and second for the Javelinas. They lead at 5-3. And you guys, the Mesa Solar Sox, appropriately so, since we were just talking about them beating up the mascot name or whatever the heck it is, team name. You guys are playing good baseball down here. First place, 1911. A shot at the championship that's coming up on Saturday. And Jonathan was just talking about the fact that he was talking to some of your teammates, and you guys are actually thinking about this championship, and that's something that most people wouldn't really give too much credence to, being it's been a long year for you, spring training, the season, and we're into November. It's time for you guys to go home.
A lot of people would say they don't talk about championship games, the possibilities of being in one in case of jinxing themselves, but you've got to plan for it, especially in November right now. Guys want to get home. this is like the end of the season.
Well, and trying to steal is Russ Adams from second base. He was gunned down by Casey Kapitsky. Frank White is going to have some words with Mike Jost down there. I hardly doubt that Frank White will get tossed here. This is the Arizona Fall League, mind you. But now there are 2 outs. Ryan Hankins is the batter. De Jesus still on at first base. But, I mean, you're from Arizona. I mean, this has got to be kind of cool for you, being here, get to play here, and you really don't have to travel a whole heck of a lot.
I grew up here, small town, Kingman, Arizona, the only stop between here and Las Vegas. But
that's an important stop, too, mind you. You got to fill up.
You better have gas between here and there.
That's right.
Wickenburg is the only other one, and you pay an arm and leg for gas there. But I live out in North Carolina now, so it's definitely a little different lifestyle. But this has been great. Actually, this weekend, yesterday's day off, I went to our family's ranch just outside of Springerville, Arizona, and spent the day there to get away from it all. And I don't think I've been here on an off day. I think I've gone home to Kingman. I've been up to Flagstaff to visit family and out to the family's ranch. So
you've been pretty much the tour guide for this ball club.
Well, since I've got here, I've put a few miles on my car.
Yeah. But you've got all the connections with the velvet ropes at all the clubs in Scottsdale, and you got like free reign. They just follow you right in.
I can honestly say I have not experienced the Scottsdale nightlife. That is the honest truth.
It's terrible. It don't bother.
That doesn't bother me too much. I'm not into that anymore.
It's all right. It happens. Mom is still on it.
Yeah.
Still.
But that's only because I'm used to hanging out in the average places.
Yeah, when you're married with like 5 kids, like Jeff Munn is.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got
5? Okay.
You got to go out and hang out.
That you know of.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The only ones I get letters from.
All right. On that note.
Hankins was in by a pitch, first and second for the Javelinas, 2 outs here in the 7th. And now, being a Braves prospect, I mean, that I guess carries some sort of burden because of the fact they've been able to filter players up for years to the major league levels and or trade away some of those guys and get good players in return. Is that an extra burden on you, being a Braves farmhand, knowing that, you are a prospect in the Arizona Fall League and there's a label on you?
I've had
a pitcher.
I've had the light of, I've been able to see the light from both sides, being an outfielder for 3 years and then turning into a pitcher. This is an organization that, being an outfielder, you don't have much of a shot behind people like Andrew Jones and Chipper Jones out there, and now coming to the pitching side, it's not much better. I think we're in a good position right now. There might be some changes coming up. I don't know. I think that as long as you're playing, you got a shot. It doesn't matter if it's with the Braves or anybody else. I'm just like anybody else. I'm not going to pick favorites. I just want to keep playing.
Sure. One of the things we ask pretty much everybody that comes up here, what specifically are you working on down here?
For me, my biggest thing is experience. Much like Delman Young out there, they want him to get as much experience out here as he can. To being 18, the Braves have told me time and time again, just because I've been in the organization for 5 seasons, it doesn't mean that they can treat me like a veteran as pitcher just because of the fact that I don't have very much time under my belt as pitching. So the main reason for me to come out here was to face, the best of the best and give it the best I can and see what happens there. So just the experience I'm gaining from every outing, every hitter, because a lot of these guys I didn't face this year. So this has been, at times it's been frustrating, but at other times it's been very good for me.
Sure. Jaime Bubala flew out to center field. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left on for the Javelinas. We're in the 7th inning stretch. We'll just keep it right here as we're talking to Alex Zumwalt of the Atlanta Braves organization. It's funny, I brought up early on as far as the length of season for you guys. I mean, and it is a grind, especially for pitchers because they report to camp with catchers first before position players. So from March 1, basically, all the way through a regular season, a full season slate, 142 ball games, plus this. I mean, do you get to a point where you're just flat out tired and you're ready to go home and just shut it down for a couple months?
I haven't hit that point yet. I'm sure there's some guys that do. I'm happy with still playing. I'm tired mentally more than physically because it has been a grind. I think I left for spring training on the 14th of February, and here we are. It's the 10th of November,
right.
And it's been a long trip, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
Now, do you prefer being here in the Arizona Fall League as opposed to, say, playing in Puerto Rico or the Dominican Republic or another winter league?
Well, for me, being here has been special because this is something I've always looked forward to, and hoping that I could get to play here so that I could be home and get to go and visit the places I've been able to and play in front of family that haven't seen me play in years. But I wouldn't complain about going to a Puerto Rico or maybe a Mexico, but this has been great. I love this place.
Well, good, man. We wish you nothing but the very best. Good luck to you going into spring training next year.
Thank you very much.
You got it. That's Alex Zumwalt of the Atlanta Braves organization joining us here in the booth as we head to the bottom of the seventh inning. 5-3 lead for Javelinas. Mitch Wiley's still in there for Peoria as he is facing Casey Kopitsky, and he pops one up right side into shallow right field. De Jesus comes on. He'll make the catch for the first out of the inning here in the seventh. Wow, this has just been a packed booth. Busy, Money.
There's some serious talent in this room today. Jonathan Mayo,
excluding.
I don't know why don't you think he's special? That was pretty special.
Jonathan is my boy. I love Jonathan Mayo. He and I work together, as I said, and he's just a good all-around guy. He just is. I just like busting his chops. He's so serious.
He seems that way.
Yep. But he's got a great sense of humor, and that's the fun part about it. But, he'll be with me all week.
You know what? I'll be tuned in.
I think he felt like he was encroaching on your time, therefore.
No, he's not encroaching on my time.
Richard Lewis pops one up, shallow left center field. Adams, a shortstop, going out. Bubala and Strong coming in. It'll be Strong to center fielder making the catch for the second out. So 2 batters up, 2 batters down for Mesa. 2 outs in the bottom of the seventh inning. And Brendan Harris, the third baseman, will step in.
I was a little surprised, and reading a column here in the Arizona Republic on Saturday morning that Dan Bickley, the columnist for the Republic, referred to the Fall League as the maligned Fall League, and I thought, well, that's the news to me because I've never heard anybody from any corner say anything negatively about the Fall League and what it's been set out to accomplish.
Well, the funny thing is I have not seen Dan Bickley on at any of these ball games. I have seen Mark Gonzalez in at Price. As Harris singles to right field, his third hit of the game. 2 singles and a double. As he is 3 for 4 on the afternoon, that'll bring up Johnny Gomes.
Well, I think you make a great point about the Fall League and its purpose. There is a better setting for players to work on specific things, and you're right. When they go to Puerto Rico or to the various winter leagues, those clubs are trying to win. They're trying to win championships. Yep. They get big crowds, and those fans are very intense and passionate about what's going on down there. So there's not as much opportunity for young players to work on specific parts of their game. And it's very hard on their major league clubs to try to make arrangements for them to do that if they go to winter ball.
First pitch in there for strike on Gomes, 0-1. And you're absolutely correct. The pressure to go play winter ball is as tantalizing as it may be from the financial standpoint. And a lot of guys, of course, non-high prospects, guys that were marginal, drafted low. It is a nice boost as far as income is concerned during the off season to go to a Mexico or Puerto Rico or Dominican Republic if you get that opportunity to do so, but you are doing so on their terms.
Yeah, they want specific things done, and it's pretty much because they're just like what major league clubs are during the summer. They're trying to win games.
Foul ball up the first base line by Gomes, a ball and 2 strikes.
You were talking about it to yourself with the selection of Angel Baroa as the American League Rookie of the Year, the product of the Fall League.
Right. There's a ton of guys. I mean, you go through this list: Nomar Garcia-Parra, Mike Piazza, Eric Kinsky, Rookie of the Year last year in the American League. Now Angel Baroa, the Rookie of the Year this year in the American League. So the AFL's got that going for it. I mean, you just go up and down. Albert Pujols play here. Tons of guys that have since moved on to Major League Baseball and to very successful Major League careers. The 2-2 pitch, fastball upstairs. And the count is full at 3-2. With 2 outs, that'll get Harris off and running with the pitch. Payoff pitch on the way. Fastball, ground ball left side. Hank is the third baseman's got it, and he'll throw across. And in time for out number 3. So nothing doing for the Solar Sox here in their half of the 7th inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left on base. We've played 7. Javelinas lead it 5-3 as you're listening to Arizona Fall League action live on MLB.com radio.
I'm Bob Costas. This year would have marked Lou Gehrig's 100th birthday. The legendary Iron Horse of baseball gave his heart and soul to America's favorite pastime, but he gave his life and name to the fatal disease, ALS, now best known as Lou Gehrig's disease. You can help strike out ALS. Call the ALS Association at 1-800-782-4747 or log on to alsa.org. Thanks.
Your grandparents came here.
The long drive, and it's a home run for Joe DiMaggio.
Your parents came here.
Here comes Roger Maris in the score, and Cepeda pulling the second with a double.
Now it's your turn.
Number 3,000 for one of the great players of all time, George Brett.
Cooperstown, New York. A tradition of excellence for 7 decades. Be a part of it. For information, call 1-888-Hall of Fame.
From the first pitch of spring training to the last pitch of the World Series, MLB.com radio brings unique and exclusive coverage of Major League Baseball. That continues during the winter months with Arizona Fall League action, hot stove reports, and baseball winter meetings. In November, check out live and exclusive play-by-play of Arizona Fall League action with the hottest prospects in baseball. December means baseball's winter meetings live from New Orleans as we bring you conversations with the managers and team officials from every ball club. Get the latest news with free agent signings and off-season moves on the Hot Stove Shows. And get updates on winter leagues and the news from the minor leagues on the Baseball America Hour. Number 1 baseball source all year long. This is MLB.com radio. Well, top of the 8th inning we go. Victor Rojas alongside Jeff Munn. 5-3, Peoria Javelinas leading it. 5 runs, 8 hits, and no errors for Peoria. 3 runs on 10 hits and no errors for the Mesa Solar Sox, who make a pitching change now. Jose Veras of the Devil Rays is out. And in comes in Chicago Cubs farmhand, Jason Zeminski. Zeminski, 6'5", 225, as he makes his way out of San Diego, California, is where he was born, makes his home in San Antonio, Texas. Played this past year at West Tennessee, Double-A, of course. No record of .467 ERA down here, 11 games. 17 in the third innings, 23 hits. He has struck out 17, walked 6. And opposing hitters batting at a .307 clip against him. And he'll be facing 6, 7, and 8, Tonis, Santos, and Horner for Peoria. Zeminski, a right-hander, works from the stretch and delivers a pitch inside for ball 1. Now, tomorrow we will be with you at 4:30 Eastern Time. Broken back, slow roller left side. Third baseman Harris cuts it off, throws on the run, and makes a great play to retire Tonis for the first out. That ball hit towards the hole to the left of the third baseman. And had he not gotten to it, Jeff Munn, Mr. Johnson, the shortstop, probably wouldn't have thrown out Tonis.
There have been some great plays on the left side of the infield today, both sides. We've talked a number of times about the great work that Dan Hankins has put in today. There's another great effort, and you're right, the work by Johnson was just as good to get in position to back him up.
And Santos lifts a fly ball towards left field. The hop goes back, and at the warning track makes the catch for the second out. So 2 outs for Jim Horner. Jose Veras came in, pitched an inning for Mesa, 2 hits allowed, the rest goose eggs. He did hit a batter. And why are they goose eggs as opposed to chicken eggs?
Not sure.
Ostrich eggs.
I got Javelina taken care of for you. Not sure about goose eggs.
Just curious. Breaking ball, missed high, ball 1. Had a little bit of a sprinkle early on this afternoon, but the rain has gone away. Fastball caught the corner. Ball on the strike on Horner, who's 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. But as far as tomorrow's afternoon's game is concerned, it'll be the Mesa Desert Dogs, first place team of the National Division at 15-13 going into today's action, hosting the Peoria Saguaros, who are 17-14 and still mathematically involved in the American Division. 2.5 games back going into today. As we take a look at the rest of today's schedule, you have the Desert Dogs, good matchup, taking on the Saguaros. In Peoria, Scottsdale Scorpions hosting the Grand Canyon Raptors. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Horner, the DH. The Arizona Fall League, Arizona Rattlers of the Arizona Fall League, of the Arena Football League. A lot of AFL in there. Yeah, that's mixed up. Check swing, roller to the first baseman Wilkin. He's got it himself. He tags the bag. And an easy inning for Zeminski. 3 up and 3 down. Nothing doing for Peoria. We head to the bottom of the 8th. Javelinas lead it 5-3. You're listening to Arizona Fall League action live and exclusively on MLB.com radio.
I'm Derek Jeter. When I was growing up, my parents and I would go to the schoolyard every weekend and play ball. They teach me how if I practiced and didn't give up, my swing could get better. And if I got in front of the ball and wasn't afraid, I could stop it. But there weren't any shortcuts to becoming a better player. But if I believed in myself, I could do it. Funny, all that time, I thought they were teaching me how to play baseball.
Helping your kids find a dream can help keep them off drugs. This message brought to you by Partnership for a Drug-Free America. Visit us at drugfreeamerica.org.
Avoid going into spring training wondering where the free agents have landed and what your team looks like heading into the 2004 season. Let MLB.com radio keep you informed with our Hot Stove Report. Mainstays Seth Everett, Billy Sample, and Jonathan Mayo bring you the most up-to-date information while they chat with general managers, scouts, and those inside. Just because the World Series is over doesn't mean we stop thinking baseball. The Hot Stove Report, found only at MLB.com radio.
Hi, this is Tommy Lasorda. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate my good friend Ben Platt for the great interviews he does on MLB.com radio.
Well, thank you, Tommy. You know, I try to interview everyone in baseball, from Hall of Famers like you to the new stars just coming on the scene, every morning on the Baseball Breakfast with Billy Sample and Jonathan Mayo, and afternoons on deck with Seth Everett and Victor Rojas.
Hey, Ben, one thing I don't get is, what's this Benny P stuff?
Tommy, it's just a radio nickname they gave me back in the station.
Benny P this, Benny P that. You weren't Benny P 10 years ago when you started out covering the Dodgers. I'm one of the few guys that knew you when you were poor. Man, I thought you were going to soil yourself every time you did an interview with me.
Man, last year you accused me of starting the Kingman interview, now this. The Benny P interviews, exclusively on MLB.com radio.
Benny P, what a joke.
Bottom of the 8th inning we go, 5-3. Peoria Javelinas lead it. New pitcher for the Javelinas. It is Pete Bauer, big right-hander out of the Toronto Blue Jays organization. 6'7", 243 pounds, not 242, not 244, 243 is Pete Bauer. As he comes into this one at 1-1 and a 5.71 ERA, one start, a line shot foul by Jason Du Bois for the first strike. Bauer in 9 games, 17 and a third innings, 22 hits, 13 strikeouts, 2 walks. As I was saying before the break, the Arizona Fall League and the Arizona Rattlers of the Arena Football League have teamed up to present player appearances at Scottsdale Stadium. The next one slated is Shedrick Bonner on Tuesday, November 11th, 7:05 p.m. That's tomorrow, 7:05 p.m., Scottsdale Stadium. Bonner will sign 100 photos to be given out to fans in attendance via a lucky number drawing.
He's a big-time quarterback with the Rattlers.
He's lefty, right?
Yeah, lefty. He's been their starter for 10 years, has a couple of championship rings.
I remember him. He beat us up.
In Anaheim.
In Anaheim, that's right. Fly ball, popped it up on the infield. The shortstop, Adams, calls for it. Just to the left of the bag at second base, makes a catch for the first out. I tell you what, as much as I love baseball and I love all, college football and college basketball and stuff like that, I think the most fun in my career that I ever had was working in arena football.
It's a game totally based on fun.
Oh.
Just having a good time.
Awesome. And the excitement, because it's just pure offense. You have a small field. I'm not saying that because I have no affiliation whatsoever with arena football anymore, although C. David Baker, the commissioner, was my boss at the time.
That's right. He did run the Piranhas.
Yes, he did. He was one of the owners. But it's just a blast. I don't know what it is. The atmosphere, people get into it. Nothing like you've ever seen before, that's for sure.
Every game and I've seen a lot of the Rattlers games, it seems like they always go down to the last minute or two.
Yeah.
So anytime you go to a game, you're going to get something that goes right down to the wire.
Yep, no question. Wilkin fouls one off left side, has a 1-ball, 2-strike count. I actually have to go frequent the Rattlers. Now, they changed their schedule, if I'm not mistaken. They now, I think, are on the heels of the Super Bowl. They start like the week after the Super Bowl and go through the spring. It used to be a summer league.
It was a summer league. It would start in mid to late April, but now it starts in February.
1-2, fly ball to left field. Back a couple of steps is Bubla, and he makes the catch for the second out.
They have that big network TV deal now.
Yeah, with NBC.
And so they start their schedule right after the Super Bowl, and it ends, I think, the Arena Bowl somewhere in like mid-June.
I was there during the 10th anniversary season with the Piranhas of Anaheim.
That would have been 1997.
That sounds about right.
I think that was the year the Rattlers won the Arena Bowl.
Really?
At America West in Phoenix.
Really?
Beat the Iowa Barnstormers.
The Barnstormers. I heard that's a tough place to play.
Worked an exhibition game there many years ago and at the barn in Des Moines. Of course, they're not in the main Arena League anymore. I think they're in Arena Football 2.
AFL 2, which is a minor league version?
Yeah.
Foul back and out of play. Delman Young, a 1-ball, 2-strike count. The youngster from the Devil Rays, 1 for 3 today. Base hit, 2 strikeouts. Bauer winds the 1-2 pitch. Fastball upstairs. Evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. (5-3), Peoria leads it. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. 2-2 pitch, chopped foul behind the dish.
The lights have been on here since about the 2nd or 3rd inning because of the cloud cover and the little sprinkles that we had early in the ball game. And now I see that they've got a light standard out beyond the right field that's on.
That's interesting. Chopped foul to the run left side, pardon me. Count remains 2 balls, 2 strikes on Young.
And like a lot of the spring training complexes, we were talking about it a couple weeks ago, that there aren't fields directly attached to Hohokam, but they're within the vicinity for the Cubs and their spring training efforts.
2-2 slide in the dirt. Gets away from Tonas and rolls back towards the backstop. Full count now on Delman Young. With 2 outs, nobody on here in the 8th inning. A win today would give the Mesa Solar Sox their 20th victory. But they trail it by 2. There's a ground ball to the shortstop, Adams. He's got it. Throws across and in time for the 3rd out. So an easy inning for Pete Bauer of the Blue Jays. No runs, no hits, no errors, and no man left on base. We've played 8 innings from Mesa. Javelinas lead 5-3. Arizona Fall League action continues live on MLB.com radio.
MLB.com radio heats up even as the weather cools down. Join Diamondbacks broadcaster and MLB.com radio contributor Victor Rojas as we bring you Arizona Fall League action. Just because the World Series is over doesn't mean the play stops. Check out some of the best the minor leagues has to offer with prospects like Delman Young, J.D. Durbin, and J.R. House, just steps away from the big time. Victor Rojas and Arizona Fall League action. It's MLB.com radio heating up on the road to the 2004 season. And don't worry, it's a dry heat.
You love the game. You love your team. And you love your friends and family. So to get home safely, you hand off your keys to a sober, designated driver. America's all-star team of sports leagues, stadium service partners, brewers, broadcasters, and traffic safety experts thanks the sober, designated drivers who make sure you buckle up and get you home safely.
Victor Rojas has done it all. He's played minor league baseball, worked the bullpen as a catcher with the Florida Marlins. He was the general manager of a minor league team that won a championship, and now he works as part of the broadcast team for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Yet with all of that, Victor still finds time to fill us with many baseball tidbits.
Since you're all fired up, Ricky's a pretty quotable guy.
Yeah.
Just ask him. I don't want to be one of those great players who never made it to the series. He played in 3 World Series. Well, I'm not one of them, so that's 49% right there on Ken Caminiti's claim that at least 50% of the big leaguers use steroids. Wait, it gets better. Steve Finley was Henderson's teammate in San Diego. The tale has them boarding a bus when Finley told Henderson, "Sit anywhere you want, you've got tenure." To which Henderson said, 10 years? What are you talking about? Ricky got 16, 17 years. Oh, that's classic.
Victor Rojas, attitude, humor, and knowledge of the game. Just another few reasons to listen to MLB.com radio.
Believe it.
Well, down to the 9th inning we go. Javelinas leading at 5-3, and to bring it on home, Jeff Munn.
All right, Victor, the Javelinas with a 2-run lead. Dominic Rich leads things off and takes a pitch on the outside corner for a strike from Jason Zeminski, who's in his 2nd inning of work, and he comes back to his hitter, and a fastball is in there for a strike at the knees. 5 runs on 8 hits, no errors for the Javelinas. 3 runs, 10 hits, no errors for the Solar Sox. A day where the Solar Sox have hit like they always do, as Rich swings and misses in the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. But on this particular day, at least to this point, they have not cashed a lot of those hits in. The 1-2 pitch is way inside. Rich has to dance out of the way of an offering from Jason Zeminski. Zeminski working out of the stretch with the bases empty as we lead off the 9th inning. And the 2-2 pitch, and Rich fouls one back to the screen. Rich is 0 for 3, flied to right, grounded into a fielder's choice, and grounded to first. A day that has been cloudy with a little rain. Now the pitch to Rich is grounded into left field for a base hit. So a leadoff single for Dominic Rich, the 9th hit of the ball game today for the Peoria Javelinas. And that'll bring up Jamal Strong. Strong is 1 for 3, doubled and scored in the first, walked and scored in the third. Has a stolen base. Right-handed hitter facing the right-handed pitching Jason Zeminski, who sets, and the first pitch coming to Jamal Strong. He squares and takes low and outside. Strong tried to bunt his way on for a base hit back in the 5th inning and was thrown out by Brett Evert. The third baseman, Harris, will play up on the grass. And a throw to first, and Rich is back. The last week of regular season play in the Fall League, and it all leads up to Saturday's championship game. Strong squares again, bunts it left side, and it trickles off foul. It luckily took a little hop off the bat, bounced, and spun away into foul territory. And you're right, it's too bad, because if that ball just dies, he's aboard with ease.
Yeah, there's no play right there. I mean, that would have been a perfect bunt. But it had a little bit too much spin. As soon as it hit the grass, it shot towards that foul line.
So the count 1 ball and 1 strike on Jamal Strong. Zeminski sets, Strong squares again, bunts it right in front of the plate, off the plate, a foul ball. And the count 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I'll tell you what, the fans here really have stuck it out. I mean, there's still a good crowd on hand. Good ball game today.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of retirees to be expected. The East Valley of the Phoenix area as the pitch is low and outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Most of the
Hey, fantasy baseball freaks and geeks, the Fantasy 411 is back for the 2003 offseason with Corey Schwartz and me, Mike Piano, every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll give you the fantasy impact of all the offseason moves like free agent signings, trades, and even front office changes. Plus, we'll answer all your emails at radio@MLB.com. So don't get caught up in all the turkey and all that holiday shopping this offseason. Check us out on the Fantasy 411 every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on MLB.com radio.
Hey, baseball fans. Only MLB.com takes you straight from the ballpark to your computer. So don't miss a second of the action. Check out MLB.com, the only place for live baseball online. Get live games with MLB.tv and game day audio. See live stats with MLB.com's unique game day feature. For fans who just can't get enough of the game, MLB.com, the official site for all things baseball. The #1 site for Major League Baseball fans.
I was 0 for 11, and it was the year that we got Johnny Mize. He said, I'm going to fix my bat up for you. So I'm up there the first time using the bat and pitch it through and high and inside. I duck, I got the ball, hit the bat, line drive, base hit, and I got 199 after that.
Relive your fondest memories of Phil Rizzuto and see his Hall of Fame plaque at the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. Visit us on the web at baseballhalloffame.org or call 888-HALL-OF-FAME.
What's the deal? We're back in Mesa. We apologize for the technical difficulties, and we're sorry you missed the conversation. It was really good. Adams checks the swing and fouls it back to the screen, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. There'll be a transcript available, though, later on MLB.com of what Victor and I were saying. No, we were talking about the fact that the Cubs have a very strong following here in the Phoenix area because of all the people who have moved here from Chicago. And back, I hate to use the word heyday, but for a guy my age, where you really became familiar with the Cubs was when Harry Carey came over.
Horse and buggy?
Yeah. Adams swings and misses, and he's down for the second out of the inning, and the second strikeout of the inning for Jason Zeminski. When Harry Carey joined the Cubs and WGN started popping up on cable systems, there was a little radio station in Coolidge, Arizona, that signal got into Phoenix that carried the Cubs games. And it was one of your typical little mom-and-pop radio stations. And Pop made himself a lot of money as Dave DeJesus takes a pitch outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Runner at first, 2 out, 9th inning, 5-3 Javelinas. And I'll tell you what, and then you got to remember, back in the 80s, there was no Major League Baseball team in Phoenix. So the runner goes, the pitch is low and in, and no throw from the catcher Kopitsky. And a stolen base for Dominic Rich. And the count to DeJesus, 2 balls and no strikes. And this town, at that time in the early 80s to mid-80s, was pretty much divided up between the Cubs and pretty much the Dodgers, although the Giants have always had a nice following here as well. 2-0 pitch is high and outside. But there were a lot of people who were tuned in every day to hear Harry Carey, Milo Hamilton,
I can imagine.
Vince Lloyd, Lou Boudreau. The 3-0 pitch is high and outside, ball 4. And Jason Zeminski's got himself in a little trouble now. First and second, 2 out for Dan Hankins. Ryan Hankins is 1 for 2. Run-scoring fly ball in the first, popped in foul territory in the third, singled in the 6th, was hit by a pitch in the 7th. and he has had a marvelous day at third base for the Javelinas. Zeminski out of a stretch delivers, and a breaking ball is grounded to the left side, scooped up by Harris, throws to second for the force, and that's it. So, Zeminski, a little bit of trouble, but he survives it. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 left at the end of 8 1/2. Javelinas 5, Solar Sox 3. And you're listening to Arizona Fall League Baseball live and exclusively on MLB.com radio.
Right now, fall is in full color at Kohl's. Kohl's has all the brands your family loves, like Nike, Levi's, Dockers, Mudd, Lee, Oshkosh, and many more. Every size, every color, fully stocked. And with Kohl's great sale prices, you can bundle up without spending a bundle. Plus, you'll enjoy Kohl's hassle-free returns, stroller carts, easy checkouts, and storefront parking. So come on in and see what's new for fall at Kohl's. Kohl's. Shop happy, leave happy.
Hey, Cardinals fans, STLCardinals.com is the official website for Cardinals information. Don't miss a second of the action. STLCardinals.com is the only place for live baseball action on the net with game day audio. Watch video highlights of every game with postgame.tv. Heading to the ballpark? Buy tickets to any game and buy the latest Cardinal gear online at the shop. For diehard Cards fans like you, STLCardinals.com, the #1 site for Cardinals fans.
Being inducted into the Hall of Fame is the ultimate after you have a successful major league career. Of course, I took 4 years out for World War II. I joined the Navy 2 days after Pearl Harbor, and I'm very proud to be an American and hope I've been a good one.
Relive your fondest memories of Bob Feller and see his Hall of Fame plaque at the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. For more information, visit us on the web at baseballhalloffame.org or call 888-HALL-OF-FAME.
Bases are loaded. There's the hot shot to 11-year-old right fielder Smith. Smith relays the ball to Baker. Baker fires to Ellis. Ellis to Purdy. Purdy to Sturgeon. And Sturgeon cut off mascot. Now that's
Teamwork. Just one lesson kids learn through the Baseball Tomorrow Fund. A partnership between Major League Baseball and its players that connects kids with baseball and softball programs worldwide. To learn more, visit baseballtomorrowfund.com.
Bottom of the 9th inning we go. Solar Sox down their last 3 outs. They need 2 runs to tie it up. 3, of course, to win it and try to pick up their 20th win here in the Arizona Fall League. Victor Rojas alongside Jeff Munn. As Kelly Johnson fouls off a pitch. He's in the hole with no balls and 2 strikes. Johnson is 1 for 2. He walked in his first at-bat. He's flown out and doubled. That was his 7th 2-bagger of the Arizona Fall League. Hitting from the left side against Pete Bauer. He came in last inning and worked a perfect 8th. Fly ball to right field. De Jesus, the right fielder, going back. A couple of steps. He makes the catch for the first out. So 1 out, nobody on for Brad Hopp. Jason Zeminski for Mesa worked 2 innings, gave up no hits, struck out 2, walked 1, no runs. Ball 1 to Hopp, who is 1 for 3, a double and a run scored in the 5th inning. He's also rounded into a double play. Two and 0 the count. Bauer came in last inning. He's retired the 4 batters that he has faced. That pitch caught the corner, 2-1. 3 pitchers used by Peoria. Cameron Reimers, the starter, went 5 innings. Gave up all 3 runs to the Mesa Solar Sox. Hopp fouls one off. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and it looks as if Hopp may have hurt his chest a little bit or his shoulder on the extended swing there. He'll have a 2 ball, 2 strike count. Mitch Wiley came in, 2 innings, 2 hits, and 1 strikeout, the rest zeros. Now Pete Bauer. The Javelinas looking to pick up their 9th win. 2-2 pitch on the way. Breaking ball, and that's driven deep to right center field. Forget about it. That ball is gone. A big fly for Brad Hopp. A solo shot that cuts the Solar Sox deficit to 1 as they trail it 5-4 now in the ninth.
Boy, Hopp was just sitting dead red looking for that fastball, and it's just what he got from Bauer, and there was no movement by either the center fielder or right fielder. They knew the minute it left the bat, that thing was out of here.
4th home run in the AFL for Hopp. RBI number 18. As he ends up, if the afternoon ended right now, 2 for 4. As we will have a pinch hitter now for Casey Kopitsky. Gary Cates from the Baltimore Orioles will pinch hit for Kopitsky. One-run ball game now. Cates, right-handed batter. A .316 average, double. He tries to bunt himself on, pushes one to the right side. Nice flip with the glove from Dominic Rich onto the first baseman Santos for out number 2.
That was a great play by Rich because he could see he's going to his left, so he knows how quickly Cates is getting down the line. And he just takes the glove hand and flips it to Santos. That's a great, great play.
So 2 outs now in the ninth. Solar Sox down to their last out. Trailing it by a run. First pitch, there's a chopper to the left side. Towards the hole, the shortstop Adams throws on the run, but might as well just eat it. An infield base hit for Richard Lewis. His 3rd hit of the game, now 3 for 5. Tying run is on board for Mesa.
Yeah, I agree with you. This is a one-run ball game, and if Adams throws that ball away, then Lewis is going to get into scoring position. So the better move would have been for him to just eat that ball and hang on to it. No harm done, of course, but just the same. In a one-run game, you have to keep those things in mind.
Well, Brendan Harris from the Cubs steps in with 2 outs in the ninth inning. Fastball low for ball 1. 1 run in now for Mesa. Solo home run off the bat of Brad Hopp. That was the 12th hit of the game for the Solar Sox. Fastball caught the corner. The ball and a strike. Harris, a right-handed batter, 3 for 4 this afternoon. There goes the runner. Little fister pop up left side of the infield. Adams, the shortstop, goes out, makes a grab in the outfield grass for the 3rd out. So the Solar Sox make it interesting. They battle back. They put up a run on the home run, but it's not enough as the Javelinas pick up the win by the final of 5-4. 5 runs, 9 hits, no errors for Peoria. 4 runs, 12 hits, no errors for the Mesa Solar Sox as Josh Fields suffers the loss for the Solar Sox, and Cameron Reimers picks up the win. He is 1-1 here in the Fall League. Jeff Munn, a pleasure as always. Thank you for joining me, and happy trails to you this offseason, big man.
Thank you, my friend. You have a nice winter. Enjoy yourself. See you down in Tucson.
I will look forward to it. I'll be back at it again tomorrow afternoon, 4:30 Eastern Time, as the Mesa Desert Dogs host the Peoria Saguaros from right here at Mesa's Hohokam Park. For Jeff Munn, Dan Gentili back in New York City, I'm Victor Rojas. Thanks for tuning in, and we will talk to you tomorrow.